Hello, sumo fans.
We are back.
Congratulations to
Onosato.
for getting it. And Maria, I have some exceptional news.
Oh, yeah?
It took us 4 years. But one of us finally picked the Yusho winner from the preview show.
I have to say that I never thought it was going to happen, so I am so pleasantly surprised. This is a major milestone in the history of this show.
The curse is broken.
I congratulate you, sir.
We did it.
Yes.
Well, I was thinking to myself, going into it, I was naturally rooting for Onosato the whole time, particularly the final few days. I'm just like, there's a chance.
Yep.
In the back of my mind, I'm like, hang on a minute. We can still get this if Hoshoryu wins it. Right. And Hoshoryu, all the way up till the end,
was there.
He was there. If Onosato, if Abi did an Abi, and then Hoshoryu beats Kotozakura, I was just like, man, we can still get it. We can still get it, but we got it. It's good.
Yep. I'm happy that it was you. I'm happy it was Onosato in particular. We can, of course, get into that when we get to him, but all in all, a wonderful final result.
We got there, and now we can just pick whoever we want. It's free. Pressure's off. Just have fun with it.
You have freed us from the burdens.
Freed. The shackles are off. Before we get going, shout out to Sunday Morning Sumo Show for having us. Day 13, that Friday show.
That was pretty cool.
I had an enormous amount of fun. Goose runs a great, fun channel. Everybody check it out.
Yeah.
If you don't know, now you know. He was getting some view records though.
Oh yeah.
I don't think he needs our help anymore.
No.
He's fine.
It's like we need his help now. Nah. Now we got a different vibe going here. We're just gonna talk about sumo. But if you want to watch it live with English commentary,
yes,
they're on for all 15 days.
Live from the Kokugikan women's bathroom.
Exactly.
Alrighty. Now we're gonna talk sumo wrestlers now. Let's get into it. We're gonna start at the top. For as long as he's still here.
Look at all this blankness. I'm depressed. We already have to like zoom through this.
It's gonna it is what it is.
It is what it is.
An injured mess. We can go into it maybe in a little bit about injuries or stuff like that. That could be a good subplot to the Guess the Banzuke thing in a few weeks.
Oh yeah, good point. Yeah, so I'm glad you brought that up before we start.
Yes. There
has been lots of requests for Guess the Banzuke. John has just confirmed for all of you.
Yes,
that we're gonna do it.
We're doing it. I am flattered, shocked, humbled by everybody who wants to see that show. We did it for fun. I mean, Marie and we had fun doing the Guess the Banzuke, but like everybody's just like, this guy's an idiot. I was like, that was the expected result, but then I was just like, okay, well, we gave it a try. It was good, but then during the Thursday live stream, it came up.
It was the Thursday live stream,
and everybody's just like, John, do it. I'm like, okay.
We had a couple new subscribers that were like, I found you through your Guess the Banzuke live stream. So apparently, this is a good thing, and we love to give the people what they want. So you will be getting it.
Let's make it a tradition.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll see how the second one goes. If anything, I'm learning this stuff better. I keep doing this, and I will become a Banzuke guessing machine.
That is the goal.
The goal. I mean, shout out to everybody who gave me advice. Like I already in the back of my mind, like I'm going through it as I was thinking. I'm just like, okay, you got to do the math thing. You got to look at East West, the Juryo versus. I'm just like, I'm getting there. We'll see. But no training. Everything, all the work that I do for Guess the Banzuke is gonna be on stream.
That's the point.
It's going to be shooting from the hip, but it's going to be more inaccurate every time. Anyway, Terunofuji, Yokozuna 1 East, not that you would know. 0, 2, and 13. So we already had a side eye on Terunofuji when we were coming into this.
We didn't think he was even going to show up.
And so then he shows up. We're like, oh, wow.
Maybe something will happen.
And what happened is that he got smoked by Onosato on day 1 and then cashed out.
And it was like, okay, well, that was fun.
So.
Not.
He's threatening for July?
I don't know. I mean, the word on the street is that he's already getting the warnings and the assess yourself comments. And the truth is, he's not getting better. He's getting weaker. So if you're a younger guy and you have less injuries and less problems, taking a rest makes you better. If you're Terunofuji, taking a rest makes you weaker, and it's going to be harder and harder to get up and get out there and fight. I don't think we ever see him win a match again. He might show up in July again. He might. But it's done. It's done.
I feel, I would almost feel more comfortable at this point, just for his future.
Yeah, I mean, you got to live another. It'd be nice, but sumo wrestlers only live another 30 years typically. But
yeah, if he's gonna be future Isegahama,
yeah,
potentially. So the water cooler rumors go, then it's not gonna do him any favors if he's wrecked out. So maybe he shows up in July. I feel like he's gonna want that go for broke.
Yeah.
One last time.
Like maybe even if he sucks on day one, he just keeps fighting. Like Kisa Onosato, like maybe he lets it go 6 days and loses 6 in a row, and then says, "All right, fine. You've beaten the stuffing out of me. I quit."
Yeah. Part of me feels like nothing short of getting his face smashed in is gonna make him hang it up.
Yeah, he's pretty determined.
I feel like he's done enough for us.
Really, he's. We always talk about, Atlas and holding up sumo. Without Terunofuji, we would have been in a completely dark abyss for much longer than we have been. He came in, he did us a solid. He was an awesome Yokozuna for the time that he had, but it's done now. It has to be done.
Yeah. Terunofuji, if you're holding out for us, for me and Maria, it's fine. Hang it up. You're good. You're clean on our books.
Yeah, word on the street is that all the wrestlers care about, our desires. It's nice to dream. I don't know.
Anyway, health and safety to Terunofuji. If he does come back in July and go on a tear, God bless.
That would be amazing, because wasn't that also the tournament that Hakuho did his final? So there could be some beautiful poetry if he does come in, surprises us all, and then retires just like Hakuho did. I would love that. I really would love that, and let me dream. But like you said,
put it away.
Put it away.
It may be time. But it is not time for Hoshoryu, 10-5 at Ozeki 1 East. The Ozeki Kachikoshi, the double-digit wins. Right.
Not the subpar one, the 9-6.
So, not the U show. Many of us were hoping for the U show. I still think it's in there. But again, Ozeki level sumo. Great flashy stuff. That Onosato pivot throw.
Beautiful.
A work of art.
You could just take pictures of it and frame it in a sumo museum and say, "This is sumo."
Yes.
And people would go,
Yeah.
I see.
Does it to the Yusho winner, no less.
But see, that's what's tough about Hoshoryu, right? A lot of people dislike Hoshoryu. They say he has a bad attitude in the ring. I don't know what that means, quite frankly, because you're in there to fight. So how can you have a bad attitude in the ring? I don't understand what that means. But if you watched previous Ozekis, they did not live up to the Ozeki status, like in the last maybe 5 or 6 years that Hoshoryu does. I think that's why I feel such hype for him. He really is an Ozeki. You don't question that. He brings the energy into the room. He comes with the techniques. He can beat guys and ruin their tournament. It's amazing. It's nice. It's refreshing. But there is something wrong that's preventing him from consistency. I believe it is all mental. And he's really got to go back to the drawing board and figure it out, pull it apart, do some analysis, see what he can do to fix those weak inconsistencies.
It feels like it's an oversight. Like he will look past some people. So the losses. Oho, he just has that weird Achilles heel thing going on with Oho.
Which happens to everybody.
So, at this point, some of it may just be that Oho just knows how to beat him. And Hoshoryu can only do so much. Fighting against Takayasu. Takayasu was basically a proxy Ozeki this tournament.
Right. There's no shame to lose to Takayasu.
You lose to Takayasu, that's fine. That's fine. And it was a very hearty, well-spirited fight.
Oh, yeah.
Loses to Kotozakura on day 15. In a way, I'm glad, because I feel like that's going to fire him up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because otherwise, it sounds so weird to say, but if he wins that match, then he's 11-4, and he's looking at what could have been. Loses that match, and it's I'm not strong enough.
Yep.
What is wrong with me? I need to fire myself up. It's tough. It's really tough when you look at Hoshoryu because you know he wants it. You know he's not dogging it. He has everything he needs, and he's always just a day late and a dollar short.
These are the two he needs to work on.
Yeah, can't
Atamifuji
lose those
and Abi,
matches. No.
Particularly Atamifuji.
And he always, every tournament, there's a loss like this.
Yeah, these two. Now, all props to Abi. Abi smoked him out of the starters block. He just blasted him.
Abi had a great tournament too.
We'll get to Abi in a bit, but very impressed. Even so, Hoshoryu can't lose that.
No, if you want to be Ozeki and if you want to be Yokozuna, you got to be able to beat everybody.
Yeah, and then Atamifuji is, I think he just kept going for those dry throws, and Atamifuji just stood there and said no.
We have to look into this a little bit, but is Hoshoryu a slow starter? Does he have a bad record on day ones in general?
Let's see.
Because if it's that, then there's a tangible thing to work on.
Oh, he lost to Ura day one. He got if you look at, well, maybe not so, but this was his shin Ozeki. So the nerves here, you give him that. So yeah, it's a recent trend.
It's a recent trend.
Trend. He needs to.
So there could be something currently going on that he needs to work on.
In any case, 100% Ozeki man, Hoshoryu.
Absolutely.
And this is, we need those pillars, particularly because a few other pillars are falling away. But Hoshoryu, we can put our trust to the future in him, the way he fought in May.
Absolutely. And so far, knocking on wood, he's built himself in a way where he's not getting injured.
Yes.
You can get your standard injuries like sore wrist, sore ankle, but not these catastrophic ones. That's also important.
He's big enough to take some hits, and he took some hits.
He sure did.
And just shrugged them off like they were nothing. And then still has the speed and nimbleness. When he fought Mitakeumi in particular, all the way over here, like, even on the slow motion, his hand getting Mitakeumi's belt was fast.
That astounded me.
Yep.
And it's like, I knew it because I've seen him do the Hanka, not Hanka thing. Yeah. But to see him do it not in that motion, he's so fast.
So fast. He does the Oshoma one. He goes to the side, he grabs Oshoma, he spins him around. Oshoma must have been dizzy.
He was like, what's happening?
Oshoma didn't realize what was happening until he was out of the ring. That is Hoshoryu. Keep at it, boy. He got it. He's got this.
He's got this. I want to see Yokozuna Hoshoryu because I think we will be happy with that. I think we will feel Yokozuna presence when he becomes Yokozuna. We won't be like, oh, why is he Yokozuna? I'm like, yes. So anyway,
we got him. We're not going to be worried. It's like, okay, how long you're going to be? This is going to be if Takakeisho made Yokozuna,
we'd all be like, when's this going to end?
We're like in the back of our eye, and just like, okay, he's got it, but how long are we going to have him? Like Hoshoryu becomes Yokozuna, it's just like we're building a long tenure here.
Exactly.
That's the hope.
Yeah, just knock on wood, cross fingers, all the things you need to do.
So next up, Kotozakura, Ozeki 1 West, 11-4, and there was a lot of explosive offense going on. A lot of people getting blasted out. A lot of people going out into the stands.
Yeah, a lot of throws.
A lot of offense, not a lot of defense. A lot of these people go into Kotozakura, and Kotozakura was just like, no.
Nice try.
Nice try. Yeah. So, in particular, Hiradoumi and Gonoyama, very strong offenses, and Kotozakura just neutralizes them.
Right. He's got that giant frame, and here they are outputting all of their energy, and he just stops them like a wall.
Like a brick wall, and looking good in Yusho contention. So that loss to Abi was all nerves.
Once again, Abi.
Wow, Abi. The foil.
Abi
making things happening. Abi, for about a second of that Onosato fight on day 15, had something going.
Mm-hmm.
Onosato recovered. Kotozakura was doing a very weird off-aggression thing.
So what it felt like to me, and I could be totally wrong, but this is what it felt like. It was almost like in preparing for Abi, he thought, I need to be more aggressive because Abi's going to come at me hard. And Abi goaded him into a style that is not his, and then beat him because this is how Abi's comfortable. He loves starting crap, pushing you, throwing you, grabbing your throat, just so that when you return, he does a ballerina flip, parries you, and you're on the ground. This is his style.
He drew Kotozakura into his game.
He did, and part of that also has to be because it was day 14. Kotozakura did not want to look like he was just hanging back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so all the things went together for that loss. But like we were saying with Hoshoryu, if Kotozakura wants to be Yokozuna, he can't lose that match.
Yeah. So it is interesting because it's this like difference in that, like, it's like, why is there a little mental knock? And it's great for both of them because you look at them and you're like, your sumo, your technique, your the aura, the power, the way you fight, definitely you're ready for the next step.
Absolutely.
And then it's sharpening the mind. It's just like, okay, how do you get your brain to ascend?
Right. How do you get your brain to see beyond everybody's little games on the ring and beat them all? Like Hakuho would. The complete mastermind that he was. That's how he was so great, because physically he was gifted, technique-wise he was gifted, but his mind was always moving, and he just knew how to fight each opponent a certain way. Kotozakura will get there, though. I saw some things with him, some, ways about using his body that looked, just the ring sense looks like it's improved.
Evolving.
And what is this? Is this his second tournament Ozeki?
Yep.
We now have another Ozeki where I am not worried.
Not worried, no. He's only getting better. And it's like, it feels almost like once he gets a little bit more confident, which is just naturally, the longer your Ozeki,
the more that'll happen.
The more that'll happen. So, like, yeah, once he grows into it. Also, first tournament as Kotozakura.
Right, and there's a lot of pressure changing your name.
So,
and he's in the Yusho race, and he's the runner-up.
Yeah.
Co-runner-up.
Jun Yusho.
Yeah, so you can't say really anything bad about him. Mostly what we're saying is we're looking ahead for, where he's going to go. And these are the few little things that will get him there.
Very promising. Very promising. Good stuff. That's what we want to see.
Absolutely.
Okay, we're going to take a dip into sadness for a little bit. So Takakeisho, 0, 2, and 13. Very similar to Terunofuji, his former rival. Gives it a hack on day one. Gets blasted out and says, nah.
We didn't even want him to show up.
No.
So I'm kind of glad he made that decision when he got destroyed on day one. It's like, you know what? This ain't worth it.
Yeah. So it is nice he's got the buffer. So he scraped the 8 and 7 in March, and now
broke his pectoral in the process.
Yep, and now he's back to Kataban for July, and is going to either scrape 8 wins or follow in the footsteps of the Ozeki we'll be talking about next. Him and Terunofuji. They're clearly it's
done.
It's whatever they can scrape together at this point.
So Terunofuji is only slightly ahead of Takakeisho in terms of like how broken his body is. Takakeisho's really there right now. Every time he gets in the ring, another body part that you cannot repair without significant rest or surgery happens. He's got the heart of a lion, the desire to win, but at some point it's done. And I think, like, I've already started going into reminiscent mode. I've been out there, doing apologetics for Takakeisho, trying to talk up his legacy, because all anybody remembers is, stupid things that have happened in the last couple of tournaments. Because I know that I'm going into mourning already, knowing that realistically, he needs an absolute miracle to be able to fight at all. Let alone...
Look at this scroll. Ozeki. 4 years Ozeki.
4 years of punishment. And
and again, also remember, when he became Ozeki in May 2019, and then hits that calf, that knee injury.
Right away.
And then him and his coach have the foresight. We're going to lose the Ozeki rank we just got because we're going to get healed up, and we're going to be ready to go again. And look what it got him. From September 2019 all the way through. Ozeki.
Yep.
Ozeki. That is a guy who's been holding on.
Basically, our entire time doing this show,
yes.
Takakeisho was Ozeki.
The entire time.
Yeah. And so it's sad. It breaks my heart that I have to transition into this whole thought process of sumo without him. But I'm trying to be realistic here. He has no more body parts to lose. I do think he'll show up in July. I can't ever say that he can't do it because he has come back from the grave how many times at this point and found a way to scrape his 8 wins. So I will never count him out. But I'm just saying someday and someday very soon it's done. And it could be July.
Yeah. He will die trying.
He will, and that's what scares me.
Yeah.
It's like
yeah.
I don't remember who I was talking to. Maybe it was Goose, but it's like, I hope the last we see of Takakeisho is not being wheeled out on the giant wheelchair. Okay? Because he's the type of guy that will fight until he cannot get up anymore.
His will to fight, effectively unmatched. Almost nobody wants it more than he does.
Agreed.
And that's part of what makes him such a great sumo wrestler.
Right. Like you can feel that through the screen.
Yes.
And it's just I can only hope for the best, and like I said, I'll be talking Takakeisho legacy on the internet, getting beat up over it. I don't care. I'm a diehard. Because that's where I have to transition now that I don't get to talk about him wrestling so much anymore.
Yeah. If he gets elder stock.
If he gets elder stock, there will be a Takakeisho reports. That will be an added segment to this whole thing. I promise you.
All right. So we'll see where he shows up in July, if he shows up.
Right. If he doesn't show up and he loses Ozeki, I don't think we see him again.
Potentially.
But we'll see. He might try Ozekiwaki. He might. I could see him doing it. He did it in the beginning of his career.
Yeah.
It might be worth it to try one last time, and then if he doesn't get it, be done. But who knows? Who knows?
Part 2 of the sadness.
Get the violin out.
It's Kirishima, man who was once Ozeki, 1, 6, and 8 on Katoban, clearly was injured, was just trying to do whatever he could. It didn't work out. Gave up the ghost. I'm kind of glad because he was 1 in 5 right here.
Mm-hmm.
So what I am going to say as an optimistic view is right here. He could have tried to kill himself until 8 wins, but here he's just like, it's not.
It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. I'm going to preserve my body and hopefully get 10 wins in July. And we've seen people not do that, and only get worse.
Most people do not do it. We've only seen Takakeisho pull it off, I think. Did Tochinoshin pull it off? I can't remember now.
I don't know offhand, but I am clinging on to that optimism that he sort of read the room, and instead of putting himself through worse, now we don't know what his injury is, something about the spine or the neck or...
Boy, do I not want to see that on the report.
And then whatever other issues are going on with him.
Well, if anybody could do it, it should be Kirishima.
He will casually get 10 wins at Sekiwake.
Right. He doesn't have... I mean, when we talk about Takakeisho, it's a miracle because he doesn't have all the skill that Kirishima has. It's like he's got one thing and the body parts are falling apart, so how's he going to win? Kirishima can just keep going into the bag. Keep going into the bag. Let me try this. Let me try that. He can watch the tape. There's things he can do. But hopefully he will be able to train, because if he starts losing muscle mass, this is going to get harder and harder. He's already one of the smaller guys. So he does have an uphill climb, but I don't think we're anywhere near seeing the end of him by any means.
No. I think that even if he were to fall all the way down, like, he just rallied back up for it.
Right. And I mean, look at Takayasu. If he needs an inspiration, Takayasu hasn't made it back up to Ozeki, but he has not given up being an Ozeki. He just comes in there like, I'm Ozeki.
Still Ozeki.
Yeah. And that's what Kirishima needs to do. Follow Takayasu. Do not follow Shodai and Mitakeumi. That's my advice to you.
Definitely not Shodai.
Or, follow Takakeisho and get those 10 wins.
That'd be nice.
It'd be wonderful.
Yeah, that'll be the storyline for July.
Yeah.
A lot of people scraping.
Going into May, we didn't really have much.
Yep.
We already have a lot of little things that we're looking for, like we're going to be zeroing in on for July.
Yeah, May was a lot of show me what you got, show me what's the state of things.
Set the stage so we know what we're looking at.
And so what we get 2 solid Ozekis, a stronger upper crust, a new Ozeki candidate,
Yeah.
and a hell of a lot of good sumo on a higher level we've been looking for some time.
Yes.
So, I lied. There's 3 people to be said about, and then 4, and then we'll get to Asanoyama. Man, this is the banged
top,
up.
The top was incredibly sad.
Okay, so Wakamotoharu 4-8-3 at Sekiwaki 1 East. That is a total of 11. So he is dumped out.
He gave it everything he had, man.
He tried. This is somebody who maybe could have given it up, but came back and he just wanted to do whatever he could.
Well, the foot was definitely weak.
It was a toe injury.
Yeah, when I saw the Kotozakura match, at first I gave most of the credit to Kotozakura sort of impressing his weight on him. But for sure, the foot or the toe just gave out in the match as well, helping Kotozakura.
Props to Wakamotoharu for becoming extremely close.
Yeah.
To beating Kotozakura basically on his own terms.
Pretty much. I mean, it shows you how skilled this guy is.
Yeah. But then Kotozakura does the weird physics Ura-esque super lean jump.
I know what was I seeing,
It does weird hops on one leg, and then the super jump, and then Wakamotoharu's knee goes down a half second first because Kotozakura is doing crazy acrobatics. That was a great fight. So, maybe a little hypocritical to say he came back and gave us that good sumo, but if he had not come back, then maybe he would be healthier.
Well, think about this too. At the point in which he came back, there was a little bit of a lull in the middle of the tournament where you're like, I don't know, it's going back and forth. There's a lot of Maegashira men in here. A lot of the top guys are out. I'm not feeling some of these matches. They're kind of like, And here comes Wakamotoharu to inject some excitement.
A little bit of excitement.
Make us feel a little bit like the outcome might be unexpected now. So you got to give him props for doing that.
And we have to trust in these sumo wrestlers that they're not gonna show up if they don't think they can.
Right.
There are, like, you'll hear, this is like what Kakuryu said when he retired. It's just like he was starting to train. It's just like, I can't do this anymore.
Right. Why would I bother?
So he hung it up like right then and there. So for him to come back does tell you that he thought he could make something of this.
And he did take a win off of Oshoma, which does affect the tournament at the end. So you always got to look for those little positives to carry forward. Hopefully the foot is, usually foot isn't a serious injury per se. So he has time to heal and, comes back stronger. He's going to beat everybody up down below because he doesn't belong down there.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say Daieisho and Wakamotoharu are very much two sides of the same coin in that way. It's just that really it's just their temperament and their sumo technique that's different, but both of them, like, every time they go down,
they just pop right back up. So for long term, not really worried. It's just really unfortunate. It is. Because you're looking at him just like it's going to be September before you can even go back to thinking about Ozeki. What's interesting, though, is his brother will be coming back to Makuuchi, and they'll be closer in rank. Not that they can fight each other, but still cool that they'll be fighting some similar opponents. He'll be helping his brother on the way up. And probably going to be September or November that Wakataka Kage's back in this picture. It'd be really cool. I know I'm jumping the gun, but if Wakataka Kage and Wakamotoharu go on a tear and they're like beating everybody and then it's them in a playoff for the Gisho. That. We wanted that when they were both up there before. That is still on the table on our wish. Right. They can go all the way down and we could still get our wish. So I'm just saying. It's just out there. It's so chaotic right now. Anything's possible. Yeah. So Wakamotoharu, rest up, feel better. I have full confidence in him coming back to Sanyaku. Agreed. So Abi, who's already talking his name up. Sakuaki 1 West 10-5. 2 Fusen. Which, of course, puts an asterisk for so many people who hate Abi. They're like, he stinks, he got 2 Fusen. Better to be lucky than good, I'd say. Exactly. And for me, whenever there's a Fusen win, I look at who he's fighting and I determine how he would do and about whether or not it was a legitimate thing. So he gets Takayasu. That's lucky. And then he gets Wakamotoharu. Also lucky. Yeah. He's a lucky tough boy. Guys, yeah. So Wakamotoharu would have been a really fun fight. I would say the Takayasu who's on a tear. But Takayasu with back spasms, maybe if he had him the day before. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. So for where it gets complicated is that Daieisho beat
Takayasu at full tilt and outlasted him, which is 100% props to Daieisho for that.
Mm-hmm.
Abi could have done that too. I'm gonna say that those are tough opponents that he sort of snuck out of, but he's still 8-7.
Right. Either way, he maintains his Sanyaku presence.
Yes, and beats Hoshoryu, beats him clean, and then Kotozakura beats him when it mattered most.
Right.
Beats him on his terms.
Beats him on day 14.
Day 14.
You can't ignore that.
So those two matches, Abi fights it. It's Abi style A. He fights his game. He does it crisp. This is some of the best sumo he's done in a long time.
Yeah, and it looks like he's sort of shifted since his stable master died. Almost like his mindset is, I really want to take this seriously. I really want to be the sumo wrestler that he was training. He didn't pull any Hanka stuff. He didn't do any weird, I don't even know how to describe it. His weird chaotic stuff and then look for an opportunity to slap down. He really did do his style of sumo and add some interesting parries. Like, I remember the slap to the shoulder and just turning guys around. Like, he looked very thoughtful, like he had a plan. He is
evolving his chaos game.
There you go.
So he doesn't need to Henka anymore. It's still in there.
Oh yeah, and if he wants to pull it out, he's going to pull it out.
So a lot of what he did, he showed masterwork on Kotozakura on this. A lot of what misdirection, a lot of reflex work, and sort of being able to act and react faster than the opponent can. So when he fought Onosho hits a nice parry on Abi. They're slapping each other. Onosho hits the parry. He's been working on that. It's good. Abi reacts faster to the parry than Onosho does. So Onosho lands it, staggers Abi. He repositions and reattacks before Onosho can attack him from the same hit. That is reflex sumo.
Absolutely.
That is the stuff that Abi's working on, and you pair that with his blistering offense that knocks Hoshoryu into the stands. This is what Abi's doing now.
He's no longer, people like to say he's a one-trick pony, but you cannot say that now.
Yeah. So the thing is that if you can survive both of those things, because he's all offense and all reflex, he doesn't have a lot of defense.
No.
A lot of the times when he's fighting pusher thrusters like Daieisho, like Hiradoumi, how they do to beat him. Also, Oho's getting some props, not a lot. I'll give him where they're due.
Okay.
If you can hit Abi clean, because he's very sort of jumpy around, that's how you get him. And that's
right. You throw him right off his game. He's flying in the air.
Exactly. So that's what he's working on. But if you look at it, if he just becomes this all offense, no defense, maybe he'll hit you, maybe he'll be behind you like he's teleporting. That's an interesting Abi.
Absolutely. I enjoyed all of his matches this tournament.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed even the idea that he might Hanka, and not because I like Hanka, but because it's funny that
it's in the pocket.
You just don't know.
It's in the pocket.
You have to prepare yourself because he might do it to you.
Yeah. So I'm for the first time, I'm seeing a future for him.
Yeah.
And we're seeing an evolution. This is something that we've been talking about even since before he got the COVID wrist slap. That we're he reaches this point, and then he does the Abi A, then the Abi B,
right?
And he does the Henka. He's doing this weird stuff. And we're always where's your path? And here it is.
Right.
We're seeing the start of it. Now he has to build on it still. It is still a 10-5 with 2 freebies. It's still
he has a lot to work on, but he's going forward,
and he's finding this weird style that's very him.
Right. And that's what that whole, we laugh about it because it is funny. Your style of sumo really is a thing.
Yes.
You have to find what works for you, uniquely you, that throws your opponents off. And anytime you're tweaking and it doesn't feel right or comfortable, that's when you have tournaments like Tobizaru had.
Yes. Yes.
So, it's very important to find what your style is and what little things fit into your style that you can add on, like these little accessories.
And so we want to talk about rivalries, too. Hoshoryu and Kotozakura are both going to have a bone to pick with him in July.
I know. It's going to be great. And, I'm getting too excited. It's the Slippery Basho.
Yeah.
So anything could happen.
Yep.
Slippy Otoshis
Flippy
all
Otoshi
around.
all day. So thank you, Abi. So bad news for Abi that he might actually get demoted on a 10-5, but we'll talk about that in a few weeks. But anyway, one more super sad for a little while, and then there's still more. We're at the bottom of the Banzuke. I may start crying.
Once again, the top and the bottom.
So Asanoyama, I listened back to the preview to make sure I said Onosato because I was starting to doubt myself. And I said I was going to pick Asanoyama, and then like the day of Asanoyama was going to pull out. I'm like,
Yeah. It was close, man.
it was, yeah.
If Asanoyama had come in, we would not have made 42 Opinions history.
No, maybe he's doing me a solid, but you know what? Asanoyama, I would rather you'd shown up
Yeah.
and not be injured.
Agreed.
So here's the state of Asanoyama. Him and Takayasu probably have a little bit more in common these days.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
For my own mental health, I may need to shelve the dream for a little bit.
That's sad.
I
know that. What can you say that, like, what redeeming situation do we have here? Because I don't see it.
He's in a rough spot. He's super injured. I do think that he is one of those people that you train too hard, you try too hard, you just push yourself past your body's limit, and what's probably also frustrating. Mitakeumi had made mention of this a little while back. Is like as you get older, like the things you were able to do before you can't do, or you try harder and now it's riskier. And
yeah.
So,
but then if you don't try to a certain level, you feel like you can't match up with some of these guys.
Yeah.
I mean, just think about having to train to fight Kotozakura and Hoshoryu. Like, if you don't risk it a little bit, if you don't push it a little bit, they're going to run circles around you. But at the same time, like, it really seems like this is going to be the tragedy that you talk about, and it doesn't have a happy ending. Because each time, the problem with Asanoyama is it's not one injury. This is one of the points that, you can't compare everybody's injury story the same. A guy who gets injured and then comes all the way back up, always possible. A guy who injures 4 or 5 different body parts, that's different. Once the one recovers, you still have the other ones, and then while you're trying to compensate for the one area, you hurt another body part. This is like the slow breaking down of a car. It's like, first it's just, the oil's leaking. Next thing you know, the brakes are failing. The next thing you know, the engine's got a problem or your battery.
Yeah.
That's where we're at with Asanoyama.
Again, trying to stay hopeful here.
Okay, bring
Blind
it back.
hope. A lot of this pressure put on Asanoyama, a lot of the reason that was causing him to do all stuff was being that anointed golden child, because for the longest time we had nobody.
Yeah.
And so, like, when he was coming back up until the last year, just like Asanoyama was like, he'll be the next Ozaki turning into Yokozuna. It'll be him. Surely.
Hakuho put the curse on him, man. Who's going to be the next Ozeki? Asanoyama. Or the next Yokozuna? Asanoyama. While Takakeisho was on a Yokozuna run.
And more to the point, like, up until 6 months ago, we're looking at the state of everybody like, none of these people can do it.
Right.
But now we finally have this hope. We've got the dude who is right, looking like he's on that path to glory. Mm-hmm. We have Hoshoryu and Kotozakura, who are like, they're working their way there.
They're close.
Like, we can point at people and say, okay, they will be the anointed one to save us from the darkness.
Mm-hmm.
So Asanoyama doesn't have that on him anymore. No. Everybody's going to be moving away.
So take the pressure off.
Take the pressure off.
And maybe a calmer Asanoyama does something.
Or maybe an Asanoyama that feels a little twinge on his ankle and thinks, I'm not going to go too hard today.
Right. Pulls back a little bit.
A little bit. Not,
not too much.
He still wants to be Ozeki, and that is a wreck.
That's a tall order at this
point.
point.
Tall order for anybody.
Just think about this, though. He finally makes it to Komusubi, and...
yeah. Oh, that's just, that
doesn't even get a chance.
That is a rusty knife in my heart.
I know.
Because up until then, like he was climbing. I'm just gonna look at it. I'm gonna start crying openly. It's fine. It's fine. I'm here to bleed for you. So here he gets to Megashira 1. He was Megashira 2, the 9 and 6, but there's nowhere for him to go. So they dump him up. He gets injured. He's back down, and then he gets up to Megashira 7. He's a little too far down. So then Megashira 1, and he's finally there. And I was saying, now all these matches matter. Now that's the momentum I was like, now's the time. He finally can do his Ozeki run, and now 0050.
Yeah, he basically has to start all over again just to get to the Sanyaku, let alone an Ozeki run.
Yeah. So he's down. He's gonna be double-digit Megashira. So he needs 10, 11 wins, 2 tournaments in a row.
Yikes, man! And now we've got these guys who are gonna prevent that from happening.
And now we've got a crowded top again. Now we've got a lot of good people. He's got no gimmies.
Well, here's what's going to happen, though, at least in July. Say he is miraculously healed. I don't know how bad his injuries are. He's going to drop down significantly low, and he's going to be fighting all kinds of guys that he can beat. So he still can get like 10 or 11 wins in July without having to fight the upper crust.
Yes.
It's just that once that happens and he gets propelled forward, they're immediately going to be sending the wolves at him in September.
Yeah. They'll be, he'll be 5-6 in September.
And they'll be throwing the guys at him.
And they'll be throwing all the guys at him, and then he'd need another double-digit win he wants in that, and he's probably not going to get it, so then he'll be top 3 in November, and for that whole 6 months, he cannot be injured.
Right, and we have no proof that can happen.
It makes me sad.
Ugh. The era in which we started watching sumo, we are finally seeing our guys just fall away. Like, they were young guys when we started, and now they're all falling apart. This is the sumo life, I guess.
Sumo life. It's human.
Yeah.
There's pain and suffering.
Yeah, we got to remember the good stuff, like Terunofuji rising, Tochinoshin rising, Takakeisho when he was brand new, tearing up stuff, Asanoyama winning Yushos. It's all gone now.
I've heard this recently, Maria. There is no light without darkness.
Yes, I heard that too. Somebody very poetic.
Very, very wise man
said that.
It's true, though. It's true.
It's true.
It's true. You have this, and it makes everything else feel better.
Like if you were to suddenly come back and do the impossible, how bright would that light be?
How bright. It's still. He's not retired yet. It's getting there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not as dark. It's not as dark as Terunofuji and Takakeisho. So we got to go with that.
Oh boy, that's
even Kirishima. I mean, we don't know.
That's some tar in a coal mine there.
I think we got to get to the Yusho winner because I'm starting to get really weepy.
Yeah. So, Maria, as you're aware, whenever somebody reaches the Sanyaku for the first time, there's always a Sanyaku curse, and we're always afraid of it, right?
Yes.
Because they always get knocked out, and
they have like 5 and 10 tournaments.
5 and 10 is terrible, and we're just like, they just got to learn. Nobody told Onosato about this.
So he just
won a Yusho.
Yeah.
When's
the last time that happened? Debut Sanyaku wins the Yusho.
It was 50, 60 years. I think. I think Sumo Primetime mentioned the record length.
Oh, I really got to go back and watch that.
They put the video out. Shout out to Hiro. Talk about more people that don't need our support.
I know, right? Let's shout out everybody because we're just so influential.
I know. Oh goodness. I think he's getting towards 60K. I'm so happy
nice.
for him.
Maybe we'll get somewhere.
Get it, Hiro.
Come on, Hiro. We're on your side, man.
Yeah. So Onosato, extreme power, control, barreling people out like they're not there.
Very calm and collected as well.
That calm and collected. Almost took the word directly out of my mouth. That's how he got the 12-3.
Yeah.
On defense. So Wakamotoharu, pivot throws. He Wakamotoharu. Kirishima, he does a jumping slap down. He gets serious air. This is Kirishima before he gave up the ghost. So, fighting Kotozakura. Kotozakura does that pivot throw, and Onosato throws and does the weird leaning on him.
Yeah, that was something.
800 pounds of people on 2 legs doing ballerina poses, and then Onosato wins. He Kotozakura.
Pretty much.
Probably the craziest thing. Daieisho's charging him, and he does the 5-meter dodge to the right. It looked like video game physics.
Yeah, I'm like,
he just went whoosh.
There was a couple of moments where I'm watching. I'm like, what actually happened? I have to watch the replay.
That is an extremely large amount of power. And then Atamifuji has him out on the edge, and he does a very Hoshoryu, Hiradoumi, Prime Nishikigi. I'm just gonna evacuate the premises. Slips away.
Just sort of change the angle on you.
Like an 8-foot ura.
Yeah.
It's just, and so now some of that weirdness is sort of where he got his 3 losses, but we
don't care about that.
We're not talking. We're gonna let his coach badmouth him on that.
Yeah, he already said it. Don't get cocky, boy. A 12-3 is not a real you show.
Yeah.
Now, I want to comment on that real quick because I read all the comment sections on all the videos because I find it fascinating. I don't see why people were so up in arms about that. You got to be tough on your guy. You have to. This is not some sissy sport, man. You got to get in his face and say, you suck. Now be better. Or he's not going to be better. How many guys have slipped away into mediocrity because their coach wasn't willing to hammer him? Good on Onosato for saying it, in my opinion.
Yeah. Nishinoseki
Oyakade. Yeah.
I call him Onosato too.
Can't help
It's also really confusing on Grand Sumo Salon. They'll call him Onosato and Nishinoseki Oyakade.
Good, it's not just me.
Oh, yeah. They do go back and forth. He's like, oh, he was the Yokozuna. Like, back in your Yokozuna days when you were Onosato. I'm like, guys, I have trouble with normal names, and now we've got 2. Anyway.
Two very long.
Anyway, so yes, Onosato is being a tough guy on him.
He should.
He won the U show. Behind closed doors.
Behind closed doors, he's getting a pat on the back. He's like, here's some extra everything. You know?
Also, another thing to keep in mind, like you had mentioned before, there was that scandal in the beginning.
Right.
And so Onosato has to do the narrative. Mm-hmm. Like he can't be like, well done, you're doing some really good stuff. No, he has to be like, we're going to be serious. We're going to be humble.
That's right.
You know,
be humble. Be the guy.
Yes, we are honorable men here.
And then they go back and they're getting smashed.
Of course. So it's now we are putting our opinion, our spin.
Yeah, this is our opinion. We don't know anything.
We don't know jack.
We just like to talk. Okay,
that's what we're doing. So well done to Onosato. Great way to start his Ozeki run.
Yeah, I was very impressed with how comfortable he looked up there, considering how young he is, how new he is. You got to give at least some credit to his coach preparing him. You know, there is something about having... I know Onosato didn't have the longest Yokozuna career, but he was a great wrestler, and he's translating that knowledge very well. I enjoyed all the emotion from Onosato's dad. Like,
oh, that was so beautiful.
Honestly, like there was a moment in the middle of the tournament where I'm like, I'm not feeling this tournament. That brought it all together for me. I'm like, this is so beautiful. And then Onosato's crying, and I'm like, I'm gonna cry, and I'm just forget about all the worries now, and I get to enjoy that situation. So I'm very glad he won. Just it helps you feel like there is a future.
Definitely a future. Definitely, and just you're right. It's like, okay, it ended all right.
Exactly. Whatever
we landed.
Stuff happened. It ended up with our storybook ending, so good.
You know, the plane lost an engine, but then it hit the runway. We've landed the plane.
Everybody survived, and one of the guys thrived. So
it's okay. So, looking forward to that in July.
Yeah, that's something for us to really be hopeful for, to see, like, okay, what are you going to do next? He is someone who could win back-to-back U-Show. It's been a long time since I've seen somebody win where I'm like, he can win the next U-Show. I can't even say that about Hoshoryu right now. I really can't. I want to be able to say that at some point. But right now, it's looking good.
Good. So, Atamifuji, 7-8 on the last day. Megashira 1 East. This one hurt me. Because he was rallying it back.
He worked so hard.
You can tell he wanted it. He sort of looks like a store brand Kotozakura right now.
Yeah,
because he's big, he's grappling, he's got that patient defense, but there's a passiveness to his sumo. There is sort of a Takarufuji to it, where he will be able to neutralize attacks and from anybody and stay in the match. But it takes him a little longer to find that opening.
Right. And while he's calculating the opening, the other guy is 10 steps ahead of him.
Yeah. So Kotozakura, Abi, Wakamotoharu, and Gonoyama, very similar in that he's able to stop their brand of sumo, but then he doesn't impose his own.
Right. It's like, oh, now what?
And then they keep working at it, and then they get the win. And then he loses to Takanosho on the last day.
That was interesting because Takanosho, he looked like he was limping through yet another tournament. But he seemed to be extra fired up in that match. And to some degree, I think the credit has to go to Takanosho. He was just like, I'm going to blast this guy with everything I have and just put it all on the table. And it worked.
They were both 7-7.
Yeah.
And on paper, I'm looking at that, and I'm just like, oh, wow, they're giving it to Atamifuji.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, they just gave him an easy match.
And then Takanosho came out. So, yeah, that is all props to Takanosho with the sumo spirit.
He wanted it more.
He put, that's the problem.
That is the problem for Atamifuji. Now, I would say even in that Yusho, the controversial Yusho situation where he lost out in the playoff, he got hankered multiple times in that tournament. There were moments where he could have just been in control of his destiny and never made it to a playoff. There's a little lacking of the desire. Just enough to make him get a 7 and 8.
I think it's still a little bit of a lack of confidence. There's nerves.
Yeah.
He's
like still young and new.
He's learning. He'll work on it.
Hard losses like the one to Takanosho will teach you.
I had a sort of a similar thought when Kinbozan came up, because he was a little bit more passive. He was not taking as many risks, and he was losing, and we're like, you can do this. And now Kinbozan's starting to get more aggressive. He's fighting a little bit more dominantly. Right. I think you just have to get used to it.
You do, and we will see that from Atamifuji for sure. I mean, he wanted it so bad. He fought all the way to the end, but just took his foot off the gas right in that last match.
So the good news is that the 7 and 8, he's still going to be within striking distance of Sanyaku.
Yeah, he's not going to go too far.
He'll be 2,
which means one good tournament, and who cares?
Exactly. So he's keeping himself in contention at least.
Right.
But it sucks because an 8 and 7 at
One
East.
Yeah, he would have been in Sanyaku. That's the thing too, right? To lose on the last day to Takanosho when you're that close to Sanyaku, that's gotta hurt.
My heart. But he did get. Who did he? Oh yeah, so he does get Hoshoryu on day 1 and Kirishima on day 3. So
he looks, when he's in the ring, he does look like he could hang with the best of them.
Yeah. So it's still 7 and 8 at One East. He's still acclimating.
Yep. Just needs a little time.
Feels like he belongs here.
Yeah. Exactly. You're not like, what's he, and some of the matches he could have won. Some of the matches, the tables got turned on him a little bit, and that's a little bit of the newbie energy as well. So his record doesn't even reflect how well he was fighting in the tournament.
Yeah.
It's just like what we're always saying. Before anybody criticizes me and says that I'm ragging on Atamifuji, I'm not. What I'm saying is those little things matter if you want to get higher. So he's just got to work on them.
I wanted it for him so bad.
I know. I like Takanosho, though, so I couldn't be too bummed. Because I'm like, Takanosho's had a bad run of it. I didn't pick a win. I didn't pick a side in that match. There was going to be disappointment and happiness either way. So,
well, Atamifuji, you're so close. You're so close.
So close.
Stick at it. So, Daieisho, Megashiro 1 West, 11-4, fighting like he never left Sekiwake.
And there was a moment in the sort of beginning of the tournament where he just looked a little dicey to me. I would not have predicted that he was going to go 11-4. I thought it was going to be another like 8-7, 9-6 tournament. But man, he pulled it off. He's so aggressive out there. Like,
Yusho runner up.
Yeah, you could feel the hunger as each day went on, especially after the Atamifuji loss. It was just like, no, man, I want this. No, man, I want this.
So he did a lot of good sumo, but these last 2 fights in the last 2 days, it's a lot of everything that he was all about. Takayasu and Kotoshoho, they gave him a brawl. I'm a big fan of brawls, so I love both of those fights. And Takayasu threw the kitchen sink at him, and he just threw one back.
Yeah, that really was him just outworking Takayasu.
Outworked Takayasu, and that was a Takayasu who is in that Ozeki level aura, and just outguns him.
He just really looked like he rose to meet him. Like, no,
Yeah.
I'm an Ozeki too. Like,
Yeah.
Like, he wanted to prove that.
That's the mindset. And this is what I'm hoping that Wakamotoharu does, and Wakamotoharu has already done. But the big thing we were saying going into the preview show is that Daieisho got knocked down a peg, and now he's going to get knocked down a peg into a place where there's a lot of people that want up. And he needs to do something to say, you ain't getting my spot. And that's exactly what you do.
Yep. You throw up an 11-4 and be, you should runner up.
Yeah. And also, Kotozakura, Kirishima, Takayasu, like I said. Hiradoumi, he outmuscled Hiradoumi. Abi outblasted him.
Mr., throw everybody else's Yusho out.
He is given the power. I always like seeing those pecking order when we have power people going up against each other.
Who's the stronger of the two?
Who's the stronger guy? Who's better at it?
Daieisho might be, towards the top with, the pusher thrusters.
He's taken the last two off of Takakeisho. He's looking like he's gonna be the guy. Now, Onosato did get the better of him there, but Onosato does a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
The way he uses his power is spectacular. So that's one thing. But very, very happy to see. He still has those momentary lapses, but if you have a momentary lapse and you're 11-4, you're well on your way.
I'm pretty sure it was the Meisei match where Meisei just turned the tables on him.
Yep.
That was a fantastic...
Yeah, so he's Meisei fighting out of his mind.
Meisei.
Oh my goodness.
We have not seen this level of Meisei
in
years.
So Meisei and Daieisho were like thrashing each other, staggering each other.
They were both trying the parry.
Meisei was just faster.
He was.
And so for Daieisho, he just needed to make sure that he got him out, and he didn't. Against Atamifuji, he misses a parry. Very un-Daieisho-like, but that's that lapse.
Right, that little moment that costs him every tournament.
Daieisho, that's his thing. I don't know how to fix that.
Yeah, just practice. Not even just practice, but just being in matches.
Yeah.
And remembering, don't mess up.
Don't mess up. But anyway, like 11-4, he's fine. Yeah. Go back in. I'm not worried about this stuff.
Right. We have to give opinions, so we could be like, "Wow, Daieisho 11-4, cool. You should run up. All right, let's move on.
Get him.
Yeah,
get back up there. Because if you we were also talking like him and Wakamotoharu. They were in that 9-6
stuck in
purgatory.
Yeah, stuck up in
the
Sekiwake. Can't get to Ozeki.
Yeah, the 9-6 is thanks come again.
Maybe getting knocked down was a good thing for him then.
Maybe it helps him thrive.
We'll see. I mean, we have to see how the future plays out.
Oh, it plays out with him. Probably Kamasubi at least, but definitely back in Sanyaku.
Which is...
Go get him.
Perfect.
I want to talk about somebody else who's going to be in Sanyaku. Hiradoumi!
Now, I have to say, you have been hype on this guy since he came up. Not many people have spoken about him. There are a few of our 42 Opinions guys who were about him, but you were hyping him long before he was on my radar, so I give you kudos.
Oh my goodness. I cannot explain to you how happy I am to see that 9-6 career high rank of 2 East.
And even the losses that he had, they were all good fights.
Great fights. The blistering Tachi, what I was talking for a while, I was like, I just need that spark. It's just like, it hit the spark, and that spark hit a V8 engine. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Well, he probably took some notes from watching Takerufuji last tournament.
There's some truth to that.
Yeah.
It's that same type of, he hits somebody, and they just don't know what happened to themselves.
Right, it's like you're so off balance. It's like you can't recover if you get hit hard enough.
My apologies that he's the guy who just wrecked Takakeisho, but...
I can't hate on him. Like I said, I don't think Takakeisho even belonged in there.
Yeah.
And he made Takakeisho look silly.
Yeah. So, blast
Maybe
him.
he did him a favor.
Could have been. He's
Maybe Takakeisho would have fought on.
He would have kept fighting, yeah. If he got Oho on day one, he would have been like, I could have done better.
Right. Whereas Hiradoumi put him in his place and said, you need to go take a rest.
That's the spin I like. Thank you, Maria. Thank you for understanding.
I try.
But yeah. Yeah. Worth noting. He is so strong, he knocked out Onosato.
Come on. I'm thinking.
I can't.
Give this guy a little bit of time.
not much. He's,
A little bit of maybe a little bit more bulking up.
Yeah. So
I said, I don't like to encourage guys to get too big, but you got to get a certain big because there are massive guys in here.
He's working on his belly. I think Sanyaku Curse is going to hit him hard in July, but I love seeing him there. I love the fear he put into people.
Maybe Onosato broke the curse, and like it'll be
nice.
open for other people.
Nice. Onosato, Kotozakura helped a little bit for weakening it.
They're breaking down the curse.
We've got the priests out there exorcising demons.
That's right.
These are the good foot-stamps today.
Exactly.
Yeah. I will say on a personal note that while Hokutofuji is still fighting the top division, I'm a one-man guy.
That's right, and I understand.
I can't, but as soon as he falls into Juryo, I am swapping them cards.
I'm in the same boat. It is Takakeisho for life, but as soon as he's gone, it's Hoshoryu.
Yep. Until death do us part. We keep that part.
That's right. We don't turn our back on our guys. No. Ride or die.
Ride or die. Ride or die. Yeah. Right now, I was thinking about this when we were doing it. It was like, if Hiradoumi fights Hokutofuji, I'm picking Hokutofuji.
Yep.
I know he's going to lose, but I don't care.
In the match with Takakeisho, of course I was rooting for Takakeisho.
Of course you are.
I have to accept the loss. It's painful.
It's fine.
But if Takakeisho ever does come back in there and fight again, Takakeisho all the way.
Okay, while we're being stupid, one more stupid note. So when he staggers Gonoyama, when he's fighting him, Gonoyama does the greatest panic pose while he's hiding it. That look on his face
was like, no!
Oh, crap!
Yeah, I know.
That is some Looney Tunes stuff.
Man, if we could just go back and get some screenshots, we could like put posters on the walls. There's so many amazing moments like that.
There's quite a few this tournament. When you do have the chaos, some parts thrive.
Yes. Chaos is not always a bad thing.
So, well done here, Hiradoumi. Looking forward to more. Mm-hmm. Looks like we're ready to get it. Speaking of Gonoyama.
He's right there.
He's right there. Making sure 2 West 6 and 9. Gonoyama's problem is that everybody knew that they needed like the nuclear fallout bunker for him. So they
prepared themselves.
They all are preparing themselves. It's the big Ura syndrome. It's the big Enho syndrome.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are letting him charge them and then reversing him.
And he really needs to figure out how he can throw them off their game. Like, I'm not encouraging this per se, but a well-timed Henka might just throw people off their game a bit.
Yeah, 4 of his losses were Gonoyama going forward, Mack Truck going it, and then they reverse him. So they're able to
you
work
can't
with
let
it.
that be. Either you have to be, if you're going to Mack Truck people, you just got to hit them so hard there's no recovery. If you're not that tough, you got to come up with something else.
What is also interesting is people are starting to get inside of him, and they pressure him out. And this is all props to Onosho as one of the people who's been doing this. And like the Onosho Gonoyama, like on paper, you're just like, oh, Gonoyama's got that. But Onosho working on his stuff.
Yep.
Props to him. And again, this is the thing. So now Gonoyama's looking at it just like, I got to be more Gonoyama now.
Well, maybe Gonoyama, see, he's one of the guys that may not have his style tuned quite right.
There's still a lot of potential on him. I think I was pretty leaning hard into him kicking some butt in May, so this sucks a little bit to see the 6 and 9. But
right, especially because one's a Fusen.
Yeah, there was this. I think this is something that the Sunday Morning Sumo Show had pointed out to us, that he gets a lot of those.
Yeah, no, he really gets lucky.
He does. Any little bit helps.
Hey, you just take a gift.
Yep,
you don't complain.
you do.
You just take a gift. There's 2 things with Gonoyama. One is being, they can read him. If he was powerful enough, like Abi, people know what Abi's going to do. They can't always stop him.
Doesn't help him.
Right. Gonoyama has to be at least that powerful. Or start throwing the belt in there.
He did do, let me see, Atamifuji, who was, as we were mentioning, a little too passive for his own good, blocks Gonoyama's attacks. Gonoyama transitions to belt and gets him out. So, like, there are moments that you can look at it and be like, more of that. The pieces of his success are sort of scattered around.
Right, because I don't think he's figured himself completely out yet. And I also do think there might be a little bit of a stamina thing.
Maybe.
I could be wrong, but I feel like towards week 2, he's not as in control as some of these other guys. And that's something, I don't know. I feel like you can build on that. Just training. Yeah. Training for Gonoyama.
Train the hell out of yourself.
Yeah, that's what he's got to do.
Yeah. And it is still 6 wins or 5 wins in a freebie at Megashira 2. Like we were saying for Atamifuji. You're just like, this is still a dangerous place to be, and they're still doing pretty well, and they look like they belong there.
Yeah, I think he can pull it together, but he's a lot more work in progress than I expected.
A little bit more. It feels like he hit the ceiling, and then, but like you can see him like getting the saw out. He's going to start cutting that ceiling up.
He's going to start again. Once again, he's got Goeido. What is Goeido's coach's name? I have no idea what his coach name is.
Hang on.
There's just been too many coach change names as well.
Takekuma?
Oh, yeah, that's probably it.
Takekuma. Oyakata.
Okay, so Takekuma.
Yeah.
He's got Takekuma on his side. He'll help him.
Yeah.
You know, it's nice when you have an excellent coach.
Starting to see Goeido in the Shimpan as well.
Yeah.
You see him. You see Onosato.
It's so nice.
Thought I saw Nishikigi.
Yeah, I think you did.
So
it's like exciting.
It is, yeah.
It's our guys. They're back.
I'm waiting for the day that all 5 of them, I'm just like, it's you.
Uh-huh.
It's you.
Well, for anybody who was watching Sumo way longer ago, that's what they've been going through.
I think he's, I had his name in a fella. Kotoshoho.
Oh,
he's
yeah,
in there too. I'm looking at him. I was like, my friends.
My friends are here. Yeah.
And they're wearing the stylish black robes. Oh,
and they look so serious.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
No, but Gonoyama, he's going to need at least a couple tournaments, I think.
Probably. Give him the rest of 2014.
Yeah.
And then like sometime in November, like he'll poke his head into Sanyaku a bit. Oh, long term for Gonoyama. He's not a rush.
Yeah. We're just going to have to let him be.
Yeah. So taking a half step back, keep in mind that like what Atamifuji and Gonoyama are doing, this kind of prospect, this is what's normal.
Yes.
And then what Onosato and Takerufuji are doing is not normal.
Right.
That is some weird rocket ship science that does not apply to normal people. So keep all that in mind. But in any case, Takayasu time. Oh my goodness.
Boy.
Mega Sierra 3 East 7-3-5. He was
so close.
I wanted it. I wanted the Kachikoshi on his 6-loss handicap. That would have been beautiful. I think I wanted it a little too much. But keep in mind that he came back and they gave him Hoshoryu and Kotozakura.
Yeah, that was a little mean.
And he handles them.
He handled them well.
He's just out Ozeki's the Ozeki.
They either have a lot of faith in Takayasu or, you know, part of it, like I said, there was a little bit of a lull in the middle of this tournament.
So, yeah.
They're probably like, we need some good matches, man. People paid for these tickets. We're going to put our faith in you, Takayasu.
Yeah. He almost completely cleans out the Sanyaku. Because he gets Wakamotoharu and Onosato before he leaves. Loses the Fusen to Abi.
That Abi, he's just everywhere.
Yeah.
Look at that.
And then he just had the back issues. He comes back. Part of me is just like, maybe he just needs to take the weekend off.
Yeah, just take a couple days off every tournament.
And if you fight like this, who cares?
Take
a knee.
Has anybody done this? Because this could be a good strategy for our consummate, like, injured people. Take a couple days off and come back.
It's a weird thing, but it seemed to work.
It did. Well, particularly for someone like him who has back spasms. You don't know when they're coming. You don't know when they're going to end. So, like, just do what he's doing.
Let's take a day. Yeah, take a couple days off. You wake up, the back's just all on a pretzel.
No, I'll be back.
Call up the Sumo Association. Tell them you'll be back Monday.
Exactly. Need a couple days off.
Boss. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because some people had gotten, and Takayasu's pretty popular, but some people had gotten down on him because of how many, like, you get your hopes up for him and then he sort of falls out at the end. This tournament made me say, you know what? Who cares? He's a beast. He's awesome. I love Takayasu. I'm going to root for him no matter what situation he's in. He doesn't need to win the Yusho. He needs to come in and show these boys how to be an Ozeki. That's his role. If he gets the Yusho, week-long party. But like he's impressed me with his ability to just always be professional, tough, and makes everything interesting.
And his aura, his stare down.
The aura is everything.
Okay, here's the one very important, extremely massively important blue belt.
Yeah.
What are we thinking about that?
I don't know, because I'm so used to the red belt, and the red belt means power to me. The blue belt was like, I'm chilling.
He's a chill blue belt.
But it worked.
If he had the red belt, we've gotten 8 wins.
There are two sides to this coin.
Food for thought.
Well,
Okay.
let's find out what Mawashi he wears next time. Does he bring the blue one back, or does he say, the red?
Gotta keep an eye on this. These are the kinds of things.
A lot of guys with red Mawashis have ditched them. How many red Mawashis are left now?
We've got
Daieisho?
Onosho and Daieisho?
And Takanosho.
It's not a lot. They have
No.
more. Hoshoryu ditched his. Takayasu ditched his.
Man, I'm not liking it. I love the red Mawashi.
Gotta keep a close eye on this.
That's right.
Close eye on this. These are the facts that really affect things.
Mawashi Gate.
All right. Anyway, exceptional sumo when he was there.
Yeah.
To the point that I almost wonder if he needs to. Again, it's a weird.
Just
maybe
create a system. Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
Take a couple days off and come back. Just take 2 next time, not 5.
Yeah.
And maybe you'll be fine. Could you imagine he comes back like 10 and 5 because he.
And the 3 to 5 days of him not being there.
Yeah. Then you'd be like, okay,
Crazy.
we're on to something now.
Maybe. See a pattern. So, Tobizaru, Omega Sierra 3 West 6 and 9. So we'd hinted at this a little bit earlier. He's getting found out. Everybody just knows how to contain him. He's a little found out. He's a little outmatched. People aren't letting him do his parries, do his anything.
His little grapple thing.
Yeah, he was almost just like a side note. Like
he was a gnat. Like people just like flung him, or like it was like the old days where they're throwing him into the first row like every match, and he wasn't fighting any different than he's been fighting. Maybe a little bit more tentative. He did try a Hanka that totally failed.
Oh, that was red.
That's embarrassing when that happens. He's not gotten any bigger or stronger, so he's one of the smaller guys. You gotta be a little bit weary of that,
Smaller guys didn't really have a good time at this tournament.
No,
the big man, big
the
guy.
big men
tournament.
were like, we don't have time for you little guys.
So funny moment though when he's fighting Atamifuji, and Atamifuji is definitely outlasting him. And he does the weird desperation leg kick whiff.
It was so bad.
Like kicks him from like halfway across the dohyo, misses.
It looks like he looked like an amateur, like pretending to be a sumo wrestler in that moment.
That was definitely him thinking, I've got no more tricks left. I'm tired. Atamifuji's too big. Fall over, please.
We might find out later on that he was like sick the whole tournament or something.
Maybe. Because
he had nothing.
Yeah, it was
to whiff on a kick like that. That's just like, what?
Yeah, he didn't have any really. And again, it was more that he was not that he wasn't. I guess the point I was trying to make is that it's not that he wasn't trying things.
Right.
Is that he was so thoroughly shut down on a lot of his fights. But the times that people let him fight, either because they didn't know better or because they were super injured. Like, he's still doing the movement, the timing, the slap downs. He's able to outwork people. But again, like, he can't. Up here, Wakamotoharu, Onosato, Kotozakura, Hoshoryu, Takayasu, Hiradoumi.
Yeah, I mean, you can't fight like you're down in Maegashira 10, you know?
So, kind of interesting because these are the kinds of fights that whenever Hoshoryu goes up against them, I'm just like, you gotta let this one go?
Right.
So,
agreed.
More props to Hoshoryu for realizing maybe Tobizaru is going to be up to something. Hoshoryu is all over him super fast.
He was. He didn't let him try anything.
Just out he goes. So Tobizaru is now on the ebb of the flow. Now he has to rally back. He has to figure new tricks.
Well, it's kind of funny because he's always sort of tied to Ura. And in some ways, even though Tobizaru looked a lot worse, they wind up in very similar positions.
A little bit.
That's a shame for Ura. That's a real shame.
And this is a very Ura thing to do, though.
It's such an Ura thing to do.
But in any case, Tobizaru, I guess get back to work.
Try again. Drink your water.
Could still be another Sanyaku trip for him in the future, but
yeah,
I think this tournament was a bit of an awakening for him. It's like, oh crap,
you're getting a little too complacent.
The lame duck phase is over. There's too many good guys up here now
that don't really want to waste their time with your nonsense.
They all know. They're studying tape.
Yep.
Word gets around the locker room. This guy's gonna do some weird stuff. Just be ready.
Yeah, just throw him into the first row.
Throw him in the row. Yeah.
And then you'll be fine. He's got to come up with a new way. Maybe, perfect the leg kick that he whiffed on.
Oh, man. I don't know.
I could see him throwing some, actual ones in the next tournament. And angering some people.
Again.
He has angered many a folk. Yeah. I'll never forget the Terunofuji anger.
Oh, man.
That was I thought he was going to jump down and just start strangling him.
Would have been a fist fight in the middle of that.
Let's go. He would have lost.
Pretty bad at Tobizaru. I believe something will come of this.
Yes. Sometimes in losses you learn more.
Exactly. So, speaking of in losses you learn more. Oho, 6-9 at Megashira 4 East.
How do you make of this guy?
So, he's growing into this. So, Onosho, Meisei, Daieisho, and Gonoyama are smoking people this tournament. Oho takes all 4 of their offenses. So he doesn't get smoked out. But he doesn't have a follow-up from there.
Right.
He's able to withstand. He's able to do pressure. He's sort of able to do what I'll say, a lot of the making opportunities. Creating moments to thrive. But then he doesn't do anything with it.
Right. It's there's 2 parts to this whole winning a match thing.
And a few of the moments that he does, create a moment big enough for him to do stuff, worth noting is beats Abi.
Important.
Abi's coming at him, and he Abi's Abi. He parries him. Now, a little this is Abi maybe a little getting ahead of himself, but again, this is Oho creating opportunities.
Right. You almost think that he's starting to study the other wrestlers and say, hey, maybe bit. I can try some things.
So he's working on, he's not getting blasted out anymore. And earlier on, last year, he was talking about how, the Tachiai's hits hard, he doesn't have the endurance for all 15 days. It feels like that part's improving.
Yes.
So he's working on, here's the critical issues.
Right, and you got a long list of
issues. So I'm still down on him because some of the ways he loses does look really bad.
Right, and it's when you see him win, you see the potential he has. So when you see him lose that bad, you're like, what is wrong with you?
What's wrong with you? So,
you're annoying me.
It is. Beforehand, it was super frustrating because he was losing the stuff just you shouldn't be losing to this. Mm-hmm. But now we're at a point that he's losing the things you're okay, yeah.
Right, but it's you still, you could have done something different.
Yeah. He's losing less embarrassingly. But it's still embarrassing. Yeah. It's still bad on him. He's still walking home with a 6-9.
Yep. Still got to start all over again. I'm just saying that his failures have more potential than they did before. That's as positive as you can get.
That's as good as it gets for Oho.
Yeah.
Look, there are a couple of moments that, again, because he's beating some... Technically, he beat 2 Ozeki. I'll give him that. He beats Kirishima potentially the day before Kirishima goes out.
So he was not in the best of shape.
Not in the best of shape, but Oho still has to show up. And Kirishima still tried. And Oho's able to survive these things.
Right.
But then Kirishima was just such a wreck that he was able to capitalize on it.
Right.
Whatever he has on Hoshoryu...
It's just some magical...
It's a magical weird thing. But I'll give him the 2 Ozeki. He gets those. Those are 2 of his 6 wins.
Yeah. When you go back home, you take those 2 things and you build on it.
Yeah. guarantee you him and Hoshoryu are going to do more tussles during the summer journeys.
Yeah, but they probably won't face each other in July because he's going to get dumped. And that's a disappointment for me. Because I do think that's funny to watch Oho and Hoshoryu go at it. You can see the wheels turning with Hoshoryu. You can see the fire in his eyes. You can feel the crowd like, all right, what's going to happen next? That I will miss.
But keep at it, Oho. There's something, again, I feel like it is the sort of, when you're fighting like a super hard boss, like you're doing a Dark Souls thing, and like your first go is at the boss, you just get plastered, and then like you get to like a third of the way through the fight, and then you see some new trick, and it just blasts you out again. You're just like, okay, I got this far. Still a lot of health bar to go through on this boss, but hey,
I'm making progress.
That's the Oho feeling. Yeah. So much. So like if you're in this analogy, if your mom comes in and you're just like, you've been playing that game for an hour. How far along are you? Just like, Mom, it's not about that.
Please don't talk to me about this.
Talk about this.
I do not look at the clock.
Exactly. Anyway, down Oho goes for now. Maybe he'll have that spark.
We can hope.
We'll hope. We're gonna hope. Not gonna.
Kibo. Is that the Japanese word for hope? Kibo.
I think so.
All right.
I'm gonna say yes. I believe you.
Okay. I'm trying anyway.
Speaking of hope, Ura, the weirdest 7 and 8 you will see in some time.
Only Ura.
So you look at the streak, like it was 6-0. That the roller coaster alone was worth the cost of entry into May.
Absolutely.
I'll start all this by saying, God bless, because it was 6-0 Ura, and everybody looked at this and was like, no way he's gonna do this.
And we wanted it.
And we all wanted it, and it would be the funniest thing to happen because we were all bummed that we lost the Yokozuna, we lost half the Ozeki,
we lost Takerufuji,
we lost the Yusho winner from the last tournament. We have people who are just busted everywhere, and then we see Ura going 6-0, and we're like, this is exactly what we need.
And Ura could not give it to us.
It's fine. It's not.
It's not. Don't blame him.
Okay.
I love him no matter what.
Here's something that helped me make sense of this mess. So, over here, he's fighting decent people. These are good wins. Meisei's a good win. Mitakeumi's a good win.
Because that was before the injury.
This was a 5-0 Mitakeumi. So this is some good stuff when he's gone to 6-0. Then he fights Kotozakura, Hoshoryu, Abi, Daieisho, Onosato.
Right, he's not ready for that level.
He didn't fight the crazy people yet.
Yeah.
What happens is, if you look at, come on, when he was in Sekiwake and stuff like that, he had those fights earlier, so we didn't have any hype. Terunofuji, Hoshoryu, Kotonowaka, Takayasu, Daieisho, Wakamotoharu. It's just that because he was Kamasubi, he fought them first.
When he was a little fresher.
So here comes a half step behind and making sure for Ura, who doesn't fight those guys till week 2.
When they're all going to be extra fired up. And it doesn't seem like it, but he does have busted knees.
Yes.
The tournament must get harder as time goes on for him.
Yeah. Also, he misses out on that first week when these guys are still getting their crap together. So by week 2, they're all looking at a 6-0 Ura. And all the Sanyaku and the Ozeki, they get in the same room and they're like, we can't let this happen.
Going to feast.
They all are like, super serious time for Ura. Even Takanosho and Kotoshoho fight them off-brand.
Yeah.
They
got the memo.
Everybody got the memo.
It's like, take him out.
Yeah. They put a hit on Ura.
You know why? Because they're like, the fans like him more than all of us combined. Have you noticed that? Because it's really true.
It was all jealousy all along.
Like, Ura walks into the ring and people are cheering before the match has even started. The cheering gets louder and louder and louder. And when it looks like he's about to win, the place explodes. When he loses, the place explodes from, like, disappointment. He is, like, the hype man. You can't let the hype man win the Yusho.
Too much hype. They blow the place up.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, the good news, though, is this is Ura. I mean, with the 7 and 8, he's going down. But the way Ura's fighting, it's just like only the best of the best can actually deal with him.
And, I mean, he took... I didn't think he was going to beat Wakamotoharu on the last day. He beats him on the last day for that 7 and 8. I think they will be generous to him in the Banzuke.
A little bit, yeah.
The combo of him being so popular and then getting that great win on the last day.
Yeah, when we do the math, he might hold rank.
Ah, that'd be nice.
I mean, you know what? I'm okay. I'm not planning anything ahead of time.
Oh, you can't.
I can't. It's against the nature of the things. But it may just so happen that in the spur of the moment, I just leave him where he is. It's have nothing to do with the show at all. I promise you, because I can't. I got to go in blind, or else it's not fun. Anyway,
you got to go in like Ura does.
Exactly. Nobody knows what Ura does.
Ura doesn't know. He doesn't have a plan.
I tried to read his mind, but it was empty. It's a true trick.
Amazing.
Anyway, well done, Ura. The endless fount of entertainment for us all. All right. So, Onosho, another 7 and 8 that's very optimistic, depending on what you're looking for.
There is you can look at it either way. You can decide to be positive or negative.
Yeah, so for, I guess right here, when he was like 4 and 3 and beating some big people, we're looking at this and we're like, oh, maybe he's going to go somewhere. Like it's not an Ono show by now.
Right. You know pretty quickly if it's going to be.
Pretty quickly if it's an Ono show. So upward progress slowed by the Makakoshi, unfortunately. Does get 3 of the last 4 to get to that 7 and 8. Always a good sign. Onosho being streaky.
Unfortunately, though, one of those wins is Tomokaze.
Yeah, Tomokaze, the perpetual gimme.
That's so sad.
So strong Tachiai. Like Hiradoumi's the only one hitting a stronger, or Onosato, but down here. When he loses to Mitakeumi and Atamifuji. So this one right here, when Atamifuji, both of these guys, they really, really wanted this one. Legendary power fights. Both, like, Mitakeumi had to dig deep. Like, when Onosho lost to Mitakeumi, I was just like, that was all Mitakeumi.
Right. He was like, in the zone at that time.
They put Sekiwake Mitakeumi in a time machine and got him in the future to fight Onosho.
Pretty much.
That's a loss on Onosho's card, but that is Onosho fighting really well.
Right.
Still a loss, but it's still progress. People are still outmaneuvering him. People are still slapping him down, but he's hitting harder. He's moving faster. He's gaining energy. Yeah,
and he's not ready to give up. He seems like somebody that could possibly have a late surge in his career. Like maybe a 30-year-old Onosho suddenly wins a Yusho.
By the way, it's 28.
Yeah.
Called shot. Let's hear it. July 2026 Onosho Yusho. You heard it here first.
That's amazing.
You heard it here first.
We need to write that down so we don't forget. If that happens,
that is a Yusho pick to end all Yusho picks.
Exactly. We could officially retire if that were to happen.
We no longer pick. That's what happens. Like the end of the show will happen and be like, this is when we would normally pick who is going to win.
But now we're not.
We don't need to. We've transcended this. So everybody just have a good day.
Exactly.
we just say that every time people get sick of it.
That is what will happen, though.
Just say.
Yeah.
And also, more to your point, 28 years old, there's still plenty of...
There is. For a guy, he does have some injuries, but he doesn't have the rolling injuries all over the place. He's got time.
So the thought of him being like the Hakuho Cup prodigy is going away, but the idea of a person gaining a wealth of experience and then coming into his own, that's the new story for Onosho.
Right. He has to sort of transition into this new vision of himself.
Yes.
Which I think he will.
I think so, yes. There's more optimism on him than there was before when we just got really mad at him.
For just constantly, the feet are flying up and he's getting slapped down. It's like, what are you doing? Get it together, man.
Maybe we just need some young person who's just not fighting right to be mad at.
Yeah, we always need somebody to be like, it's your fault that I'm not entertained.
Because
that is just human nature, John. You always have to have somebody to blame. Who am I going to pick in here? We don't even have... Well, we can blame Hokuseiho even though he's not here.
blame Hokusei for anything.
He will be definitely to be blamed for the next 10 years.
I lost my cell phone the other day. I blamed Hokusei.
And rightfully so.
And rightfully so. It was his fault.
He does have a thing with cell phones, I hear.
Yeah. So anyway, good news for Onosho. Again, the 7 and 8, but that's not the whole story.
As that is often the case.
Yeah. And good news, he'll win the Yusho in 2 years. So
yeah,
there's that going on.
That's amazing. I'm really
stuff.
happy for him in
I
advance.
don't know. Just he deserved it. It took him so long. Anyway, well done, Onosho.
Okay, Nostradamus over there.
It was your pick.
Yeah, I know.
Your pick.
I said he would win when he was 30. You picked the date though. So I'm just saying.
He's 30 in July.
Oh, you're saying like exact 30.
That is when he's 30. Look.
Okay, I didn't realize you were picking
4th, 1996.
Oh, he's a 4th of July baby.
He is.
And the July tournament would be fitting. It's just
the chaos, the Slippy Otoshis, like you said.
Yeah.
July. So he'll turn 30 right before the Basho.
And then he'll win it. Wow.
Happy birthday, me.
Wow, that's exciting.
I'm just saying.
I'm excited. Yeah.
Together, we put this together.
Together, we're saying. Okay.
We're arranging a package for Onosho. We like him so much. Okay.
Hakuho approves.
Yeah. Anyway.
We are out of our minds.
I think we have a show to do.
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay, here. More excitement. Meisei. Megashira 5 West 10 and 5. We were going in this for like maybe Meisei can go low enough at the Megashira 5 that he really takes off.
It finally is the case.
I was thinking two things when Meisei was fighting. I'm like, damn, he's fighting good. I'm just like, Maria must be so happy.
Oh man, I was pumped because I've been saying for a very long time since I still remember Meisei's debut in Makuuchi. I'm like, this guy is going places, and he would show moments of spark, and then he definitely crushed by any sort of curse available. A little bit of injuries and just a little bit of getting outworked, overpowered. And I thought, maybe the potential's never going to live up. Finally, we saw what I originally saw. I just hope this continues on.
This is Meisei, similar to Abi. We were looking for them to have that signature thing in their brand. Their style of sumo. And we knew Meisei had pieces of this, but it would never seem to click.
Right, because I think he didn't have... I don't know what it was about this tournament. You could say all the pusher thrusters were doing this sort of sumo with they're parrying at the last moment, but it didn't look like desperation parries. It looked like they had some sort of sense that they hadn't had before, like this is the moment to slap the shoulder. Like they could suddenly see angles that they couldn't see before.
This was what Meisei did really, really well. He found angles and changed the direction of his attack
multiple times
to knock people off. So he'd hit you from the side, then he'd move, and because he's so fast, you can't pivot, and he's gonna hit you again, and he's hitting you strong.
Yep.
And he beats Hiradoumi and Daieisho doing this.
Two guys who are definitely historically more powerful than him.
Well, also, Daieisho, the kind of person who will stick to you. Mm-hmm. And that fight with Daieisho was crazy.
I was going to say, that was a great match.
He could, if he had a deep Makakoshi and he had that win on Daieisho, I'd be like, he still has that.
Right.
But he has that and the 10 and 5.
That's the highlight match for his career.
Yeah, he outdoes Onosho as well. I always say I like to do the pecking order.
Mm-hmm.
Oho and Nishikigi got laps run around them.
Yeah, they were like, okay.
What's going on here? So he fights, like I mentioned before, Kotoshoho and Meisei, I think maybe my new favorite rivalry because those two guys get into a barroom brawl.
Expected the stools to come out.
You do. For the both of them. Meisei likes hitting people on angles and slapping and stuff like that, and Kotoshoho thrives in violence. So those two guys, they had an incredible fight. Kotoshoho got the better of it, but man, that was it was a knockout. It was close.
It was close.
Could have gone either way.
Yeah. So then imagine that. Then he's 11-4.
He's 11-4.
You show runner up as well.
He gets dragged into a marathon with Mitakeumi, and again, this is the Sekiwaki Mitakeumi, crazy good Mitakeumi. Imagine if he got week 2 crap Mitakeumi. That's a 12-3.
I know.
He is that close to it.
But we do have to ask ourselves, was this a one-off or is this the new Meisei?
July will tell us.
Yes. It's
July
one of the storylines
yes.
we got to hold on to.
So we a lot of this was under the context of at Megashira 5, he's not going to have to worry about too much in the ways of the upper rankers beating down on him. But worth noting is that he still had Kotozakura and he still had Abi.
And he lost to both.
And he lost to both, which is fine.
So when he goes flying up, which he will, now he's going to go through Murderer's Row in July, and that's the real test of, is this the new and improved Meisei, or is that just the rank he belongs in?
So this is Meisei's story for July. Also helpful for Meisei, in the same stable as Hoshoryu.
Yes. Very helpful in many ways.
Yes, that is one loss he does not have on his record.
And, Hoshoryu's going to be all fired up for the next month and a half, so...
The two of them are...
They're just going to start beating each other up and getting each other, screaming each other's face, let's go! Harder! Let's go! Man, I would love to see that training session. Let's go!
I'm just excited to know that they're going to have a great month.
Yeah, they are. They're going to be just like, all right, July's our month, man.
Go get him, Meisei.
Yes.
Go get him!
Yes!
Need more of that.
I'm getting pumped up already. All right.
Already. July's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait.
It's going to be incredible.
We needed some storylines because May was just kind of like, eh.
Well, May, for me, I got some closure out of May for a couple people. Like Asanoyama. I'm just like, okay, now I know where my heart is for this.
Terunofuji.
So there was we got some emotional stability coming out of May.
Yes, preparing us for the future.
Maybe not as exciting. Thankfully, Onosato did make things exciting.
Yes.
And so did Kotozakura, and so did Shonannoumi. Shout out to Shonannoumi.
Yes. And Hoshoryu kept it interesting.
Kept it very interesting.
Takayasu.
Yeah, a lot of players here, but anyway. Somebody who unfortunately did not make it interesting. Takerufuji, 0-0-15. Breaks a 100-year record by debut Yusho winning, and then the injury he got on day 14 is still there.
So the question is, did he do another record by being a Yusho winner who doesn't show up to the next tournament?
I don't know. Well, Takakeisho's done that already, so.
Yeah, probably. Did Takakeisho not show up after the 11-4?
Maybe not. Well,
let's just say that that's not too common.
It's not common. It's very unfortunate, particularly for somebody who was shining so highly that the back-to-back double digits from Onosato was completely forgotten.
Right, like who's Onosato?
March. Exactly.
But there's a couple things about Takerufuji. One is he does look top-heavy. Like he's so bulky up top, and he's got these little tiny legs.
Yes.
And I worry about being prone to injuries forever. I don't feel like this was just a one-off. He's got to figure something out there because he's so good. But if your body is lopsided and it can't handle it, then you're not going to go anywhere.
The hope is that this is a wake-up call for it, and then him and Asegahama and the entire stable get together and be like, we can't lose this guy.
What's tough, though, is I think to some degree your legs just get to be the size that they are. You can't bulk up your legs in the same way you can bulk up your upper body.
Not as easily.
So the question might be, does he actually need to lose a little bit up top? I don't know. I don't know what you would do. I really don't. This is where genetics can really work against you.
Maybe adjusting, get that leg press thing that you're on your back and you're pushing your legs up. I don't know. Get that machine in there.
Yeah, maybe just a little bit less work up top, a little more work on bottom. And then I don't know, because some people are just prone to ACL tears or ankle issues or whatever. I just hope it gets straightened out because he could be so good.
So I am super not worried for him in Juryo.
No.
He's going to be like Juryo 1-2. He's going to go another U show.
He'll be back in September.
He'll be 10 or so. Mm-hmm. And then
probably Juryo U show.
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot of guys down there right now.
Well, it doesn't matter who's down there right now. It's
right.
Terunofuji.
Yeah, exactly. If he can beat everybody up top, it's nothing. And they were all there during his tournament.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
there's a couple of people in Juryo to talk about, but we'll get there. Anyway, September when we see Takerufuji next, unless there's an odd number of people and they make him a Juryo visitant.
Yeah, we might see him in that.
Might be able to. So put the pause on this.
Sad but true.
In any case, another Fuji.
Oh, the Fujis.
Midorifuji. Megashira 6 West 5 and 10. He was doing some weird, straightforward sumo this tournament.
You know, he does that sometimes. He has like entire tournaments where he's like, I'm not going to cut that Tsukashi. I'm just going to go straight on. And he can't win that way. Not consistently.
So there were 5 fights that maybe they could have gone differently if he wasn't clean, but he fought just straightforward. So Mitakeumi Ura, Shonannoumi, Meisei, and Kotoshoho are all people that he fights them straight and honest. And if you throw a Kataskashi in there, maybe he wouldn't have lost.
He tried one on... Who was it?
Tamawashi, he gets one, but that's after him and Tamawashi do a long push battle.
There was one other guy that he lost to that he tried it on, and it just...
Kinbozan, maybe?
Kinbozan, that's who it was.
He did.
He just shut him down.
Yeah. Some of it was...
He pushed his arm down, pushed him out.
Some of it was Kinbozan fighting well. Also, like, he was reaching up. Like, it was almost like a dry Kataskashi. Like, he didn't set it up.
Like, it takes a lot of work to set that up properly.
It does. It's part of that's part of why that being his signature technique is so special, and also kind of weird that he barely did it.
I wonder if there's times where, like, he can't do it or something.
So, trying to think this through. And on one hand, even at a 5 and 10, what's going to happen? He's going to go down. He's going to fight people out of his weight class, out of his depth, and he's just going to beat them all and come back up. Maybe not that big of a deal. Maybe he was injured. He just took an off tournament. Maybe things just weren't clicking for him. You know, there's always the weird things that go on. Optimistically, maybe he's trying to work through the holes in his game.
Right.
So Midorifuji definitely is somebody with a ceiling.
Yes.
He goes up a certain level, and then no matter what he does, he can't go higher.
Yep.
So perhaps this is him saying, I got to try something different. And if I keep just going back to the reliable sumo that I always do, I'm never going to improve.
Right. And the only way to really get that experience is in a tournament. You can't get that in practice.
Pure speculation.
So, yeah, I mean...
Absolutely picking up stuff at blind.
Of course. But if we run with this narrative that we have no idea if it has any truth to it whatsoever, this would be the time to do it. You know, if you want to try something, try it in the tournament. If it doesn't work, you can pick apart what worked and what didn't.
Yeah.
And then try again in July with the slippery basho, where Katatsukashi is going to work a lot better. So, you know, there might be something to it.
Maybe a little bit of something to it. But he'll be double digits, Megashira. He'll drop down a little bit, and then he can Kataskashi everybody down there.
Yeah, he'll probably be in the Yusho race.
He'll get the technique prize.
Exactly.
Easy pants.
Hey, so, not such a bad thing.
Yeah, not a bad thing. Like we were saying, the taking a knee tactically. You know, for some people, it's the foot off the gas, you fade away. But for people like Midorifuji, for people like Takayasu, maybe a weekend off is all you need.
Right. Not everybody fights the same.
Nobody's gonna doubt Midorifuji's fight ethic, his desire to win.
No, not at all.
He stares down people twice his size. He goes head first into people twice his size. He doesn't care.
No, he's like, I'm gonna fight.
He's gonna win. He's got the winning mindset in there. So
right.
I trust him.
The tiny man with all the heart.
All the heart. I believe in you, Midorifuji. Whatever weirdness you're up to, keep at it, I guess. So, Nishikigi. This is a 5 and 10 with a completely different taste. So, he was double-digit losses in March because he was in Kamasubi. Mm-hmm. And we all sort of knew that he snuck in. And we were all fine with it because we love Nishikigi. But now here he is at Megashira 7. And he's double digits again in the wrong direction. Well,
time is catching up to him. I mean, fighting as well as he's been fighting probably the last year, he's had a lot of tough matches, and that's taken a lot out of him, I bet. Like, it's just, he's getting worn down as the age goes up and the injuries go up. Like, he just can't do what he used to do.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much what's going on. He does do some fun throws. He chucks Shodai like garbage, which is hilarious.
Gotta love it.
The fisherman's throw. It's like when you lean back and you just drag do the
try to drag him across.
Drag him across you and you throw him over your shoulder. Wild stuff.
Yeah.
So he's still in it. He's still doing defensive stuff, but a lot of times people are just not letting him build up his defenses.
Right, and the thing is, when he's really on, he's super powerful.
Super
enough
powerful.
to take, wins off of Terunofuji. But he doesn't have the power, so now the defense has to be perfect.
Yep.
And
if it's not going to be perfect, he's just going to get
lose.
out-muscled. Yeah.
Exactly.
So I am hoping that it's just that they carved a little bit more out of him.
Yeah. And that a little bit more rest, and maybe he comes back. And
yeah, so maybe this is sort of the longer term plan. And again, it is worth noting that these people are beating the crap out of each other for 15 solid days.
Yeah.
And then you go into training and you're just beating the crap out of each other day in, day out. And you've got tournaments. You've got the Jungyo tour.
Right. And it's like, how old is Nishikigi now?
He's 30
He's been doing this a long time.
34.
Yeah. When you start creeping towards 35, you've already had like a veteran career. So.
Yep. Still love him. And
Yeah.
again, him reaching Sanyaku is such a good feeling.
Yes. That when he has his retirement speech, he can talk about being Sanyaku. Doesn't matter if it was one tournament.
Maybe down Megashira 10, 11, 12 will just be comfortable for him, and then he'll be back to it.
Yeah. Maybe that's what he needs to do.
Not a problem. Just the back-to-back double digits like that's not a good look.
No.
So this guy, Mitakeumi, Megashira 7 West, 8 and 7, goes from making eyes at the cup to an 8 and 7.
What a bad deal for Mitakeumi. I really thought when he was winning out in the beginning and then we see everybody dropping out, I'm like, this is a type of Yusho Mitakeumi takes.
This is his type of Yusho, exactly.
And then he gets hurt.
Shonannoumi, he bangs his knee. So the next 3 to 4 days, he's 2 and 2. He's sort of staggering a little bit. I think what also happened is about right here, he loses to Hoshoryu and Daieisho. So they give him because he's in Yusho contention, they're giving him the worst people on a busted knee. And Mitakeumi is typically the kind of person who's a little bit more momentum based anyway.
Right.
So like once he starts losing and he loses that thing to chase, he sort of mentally steps back a bit.
Yep. So he had no shot.
It was
like once the injury happened.
Once the injury happened, it sort of ran. I'm wondering because right here, if he wins and he doesn't bang his knee, then he's 6 and 2. He's still in it.
I think things would have been different.
Might have been different. It's a real unfortunate.
Yeah, I hate injuries, John.
But this for hard to stress how good he looked for how long. And the biggest thing is once he hits that first loss, then it starts to fall apart. But he brings it back together and starts fighting injured. So right in here, he's mentally pushing through the demons that keep him down normally. Yeah,
this was a different version of Mitakeumi, which we had been hoping to see for so long. And it's just a shame that he physically couldn't do it.
It was, for once, it was the body failing him instead of the spirit.
Right.
And it's so weird. But I feel like you can take the right lessons out of this.
Yeah, maybe this is just like the pivotal moment in his career where he changes something.
Something changed. Something felt, something hit different.
Yeah. It's like he suddenly understood the answer.
He did. Something crystallized.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was fighting like the guy who was Sanyaku for 2 years.
Yeah.
He was scary, guys. We made fun of him for not being Ozeki, and then he was Ozeki, and then we made fun of him for not being Ozeki. But
in the time that he was in Sekiwake, winning Yushos, beating Takakeisho every other day, he was a force to be reckoned with.
And some of that's still in there, and now in July we get to see how much more, because July is his tournament.
Let's see.
A little exciting, a little scared.
Yeah.
I'm honest. A little scared to hope again.
I know. We've been burned so many times.
We'll see.
Sad.
Maybe something in there from Mitakeumi. I hope there is. So next up, Takanosho, 8 and 7. 6 of those 8 in the last week.
Jeez.
Whew, boy, this is a roller coaster. So starts out 2 and 6. And
we think this is the Takanosho.
I'm ready to get my funeral clothes out.
Yep.
He just wasn't hitting as hard. People were just bullying him around. The wins he were getting was those, like the sumo sense, the movement, knowing how to read things. Because you give him Tamawashi, fine. Shodai, Sadanoumi, Hokutofuji, Tomokaze. He's the veteran killer.
Yep.
So he still has enough chops to win. And again, them beating Atamifuji on the last day.
That really made the
very
statement.
Hopeful. This is the you can't get rid of me.
Right. This is a gutting it out, go for broke. I need this match. He can really take that momentum into the next tournament if all of his issues aren't injury related.
I think him and Nishikigi have a sort of a similar problem going on, that time is chewing on their back.
Yeah. Wearing away at their bones.
Yeah, so rough to see with Takanosho, but again, that 8-7 to beat Atamifuji, to shove him out of the dojo like that.
I know. That was impressive. I did not expect it. I thought it was a surefire loss for him. And he took care of business.
And with a fire.
Yeah, the fire was in his eyes. It wasn't like a luck out win.
Yeah.
It was, I'm just going to go through you.
He's not a fire kind of guy.
No, he's not.
So you're just like, okay, he wanted it today.
Really wanted this win.
He took it all out and he threw it down.
Chigana Ura must be like bummed out because his like top two guys have just not been themselves in quite a long time.
Well, time gets you. You got to have plans. You got to have more
people.
Time
gets us all.
It happens. So, well done, Takanosho. We'll see what happens in July. I have a feeling this may be just treading water a little bit, but still good to see it.
Gotta take the positives.
Gotta take the positives. So another. Oh, look at all three of these 8-7s, but they're all different flavors.
They are. It's amazing, isn't
different
it?
Flavors. Like you look at the 8-7 Mitakeumi, and you're like, man, this guy could have got the Yushu. There may be a spark of something that's there. You go look at the Takanosho, and it's him. You know, it's the speech from ID4. We will not go quietly into the night.
Yes.
Now you go look at Kotoshoho, Megashira 8 West. This 8-7 is absolutely wild.
Right. It's like, what version of Kotoshoho are we going to get every day?
It seems so much like specific things need to happen in the fight for Kotoshoho to do well.
Agreed.
And that specific thing is violence.
He gets fired up by the more violent matches.
Yeah, the more he's slapping people and the more people are slapping him, the better he does.
I can kind of understand that. There are some people who rise to the level of their opponent.
Yes.
And if Kotoshoho has been stuck at the bottom for so long, he hasn't really been tested enough to see what levels he has.
Yeah, like he's definitely like a Gears kind of a guy.
Right. He can't turn it up unless the opponent turns it up.
So, well, yeah, if you are somebody who can shut down offense or like keep him out, smother him, he can't get the engine going, he'll lose those.
Yep.
Shonannoumi is what was showing like some textbook neutralization kind of sumo. Kotoshoho couldn't handle it. But a lot of this stuff in here, like again, like some good wins, beats Ura, and again beats Ura fighting completely different.
Right.
Watching, careful, which means that he's thinking about things. Then he has the fight with Meisei, fight with Mitakeumi. It's just violence. It's punches and, well, not punches, but slaps
that feel like punches.
Checks, drags. Beats Sadanoumi on the belt because he beats him silly, gets him on the side. So like once he gets going,
then he's a force.
He's a force.
But he's just so slow. It's like, Kotoshoho, what do you need? Do you need like tacks on the dojo floor? I mean, do you need just like somebody to poke you a little bit? Like, go.
He needs the attendant to just like wallop him in the hallway.
Sit him with a 2x4. And he's like,
yeah.
All right, I'm ready. Yeah. Let's go. Break a chair over his back.
It is. It's got that energy.
It does. It really does.
Hit me harder.
Come on, man.
Yeah, he's that guy.
The new scandal is Kotoshoho wants to be bullied. And they didn't bully him enough.
They didn't bully him enough.
I lost because you are weak. You didn't hit me hard enough with that chair.
So this is, It's just like, I don't know if the lessons we're taking out of this are particularly healthy.
Not at all.
But they're fascinating.
Well, you got to have fun when you have this level of chaos going on.
It is. So, I mean, it is an 8-7. He's coming up. It's also kind of nice because Koto Tibakari had a bad time of it. So he's going to take a little longer to get in the Juryo. So good to see that he's clawing his way up.
It would be nice to see him live up to the potential that I think he has. I think he's a very skilled fighter. It's just such a shame.
Battle of inches. 96, 8 and 7, 7 and 8. So like it is a struggle for him up here.
Ugh.
But Kachikoshi.
Right.
That's all you can do. Sometimes all you can do.
Just keep winning one tournament at a time and see what happens.
Yeah. And imagine if like he can find a ripcord. Like if he can start at Top Gear.
Right. Then he'd be come on, He has the potential for that. Some guys just get in their own way.
It is.
Now, I think that's the case for him. Like whatever it is, figure it out. And you'll be right up there with your stablemate. But maybe years from now.
A little bit. The Kotozakura, not the No.
Yes, Kotozakura is who I'm referring to.
That's the one, not the one who retired.
No. We don't want to talk about that. We don't want to talk about that.
Anyway, next up, Tamawashi, 7 and 8 on the last day. Reverse streaky. So we're talking about Ura with the 6 and 0. This was an 1 and 7. I was scared.
Well, in this case, once again, Tamawashi's turning 40 in November.
Yeah.
The fact that he's still fighting at this level is...
I think he breaks the record in September.
Oh, okay.
It's close.
Do you think he'll fight on?
Here's the thing. Like it could be like the day after the September boss show, he hangs it up. Or he can look at this and be like, I can ride this stuff into deep Jurio and be fine.
Right. Well, you know what? I don't know about him, but I think there probably is some other records to be made if he makes it to 40. So, like first 40-year-old to have X amount of wins or the oldest Rikishi to do this.
I didn't think of that.
Yeah, so even if he gets that one record in September, there may be a need to turn 40 before he can hang it up. And that's in November. That's the last tournament of the year. So at the very least, I think we'll have him through the end of the year.
I like that.
Yeah. Like, he's definitely, at this point, you're so close to records. You better chase those.
Yeah, keep with it.
He's in better shape than, half the top part of this division.
Yeah, he still has some power. Not enough. He's losing on power more often than not. He still has, though... the veteran reversals, the ring sense, so he knows how things work and go. But the last fight versus Ichiyamamoto, that sort of encapsulated everything.
It did,
because Ichiyamamoto came at him hard. Tamawashi gets pushed back, but then he holds. He still got grit. He still has defenses. Rallies back with the veteran sense. With the building of power, he sees Ichiyamamoto spinning wheels. He's like, I know how to hit you. But then, at the edge, he's reversed. Because he doesn't hit him hard enough, and he's not aggressive enough, because he can't do that anymore.
Right. Like you were saying earlier, it's a point where you can't do certain things.
Can't do certain things anymore. Tamawashi a year ago would have won that fight.
Yeah.
That's how soon this feels.
Yeah, when I saw him lose the way he did to Ichiyamamoto, I'm like, oh, that's one of those moments where you realize, it's almost done.
Yep. The
ability to win, not necessarily his career is done, but the ability to win the way he wins, it's just not there.
Yep, the fountain of youth is officially dried up.
Yep, fortunately, as it will for all of us one day.
Yes, there's no fountain of youth, guys.
No, it's sad.
If you know where it is, by the way,
let us know.
42opinions@gmail.com. Just put it in there. Anyway, Tamawashi is not going to go too far down. And again, he's still fighting well enough.
Right. He's fighting well enough that, like you said, he could keep going for a while.
A little while longer. No worries for long term. But I think you said it best. You're just that was the moment that it's you should have won.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't anymore.
Right. It wasn't a mental lapse. It was a physically can't.
Physically can't.
I think Tamawashi should teach seminars on how not to get injured.
It would be nice.
Because, he's almost 40 years old and has this record where he didn't miss any U-shows due to injury. So, come on. Tell the people your secrets.
Yeah. Give the Cal Ripken
seminar. Exactly. I'm sure Cal Ripken's still out there somewhere giving speeches.
Probably.
You know, come on, Tamawashi. Tell these guys how to stay healthy. We need it.
We do need it. A lot of people need it.
For the future of sumo, you need to do this.
Not talking about the future of sumo for the next guy.
Oh, it's so sad. Every time he comes up, we have to say something negative. Sorry, Shodai.
7 and 8 for Shodai. I will say I didn't expect that when he was just sort of haven't had it. But Mega Shiro 9 with Shodai, 7 and 8. Feel like he's a picky eater.
Yeah, I can see that.
So, because when he shows up, and typically it's against certain people like Mitakeumi and Kinbozan, somebody interests him.
Yeah, he's like, oh, this match might be fun today. Huh.
And so he gives it. But it is also interesting because when he tries and he loses, you can see he's frustrated.
Right.
So there are certain matches that get him invested. There are certain matches that don't.
And the ones that don't, he just like, all right, I lost. Whatever.
Yeah,
doesn't put in the effort.
Yeah, I put in a couple of notes. Shodai did not do sumo today and therefore loses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's almost like a Japanese villain, you know, that's like really over the top. And he's like, oh, I don't want to fight you unless you like show me something really cool. Yeah. Oh, you have nothing? Okay, well, I'll just lose then.
Yeah, I'll just, whatever.
Oh, wow. You have that secret power that I've always been interested in seeing. Please come and fight me. I would like to test your abilities.
Yeah. And then he beats him like he was the Ozeki the whole long.
Exactly.
So it's so funky. So part-timer, picky eater, here for fun.
Yeah. The farmer.
On the flip side, like he's hitting the point where just passively doing sumo,
he can still get a 7 and 8.
He'll be fine. What? Yeah. So you know, like egg on my face. What am I doing wrong with my life?
Right. It's like he can show up and fight however he wants and just stay here. Why put in the effort then? Yeah. If he has no desire to go any higher, he's already reached the highest he will ever reach. He really has nothing left to prove.
Yeah. If we apply the Nishikigi logic to him, this entire thing has been a victory lap for a year.
Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, I did that cool thing and I just decided to stay.
Yeah, he's just hanging out.
Yeah. I can't wait to hear his retirement speech someday. I would love to know what's inside his head. That's the only time you really get to know anything about what they're thinking.
It would have to be like at the retirement speech, like when they hand him the mic after the dinner.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's sort of just like, oh yeah, those last few years are I was just there.
I just was figuring I could get a paycheck, you know. Really what I was thinking about was my corn and, you know, how much time I had, you know, to grow all of my crops.
Yeah. It is going to hit the point, though, because, like, make sure you're 10, 11, 12.
Eventually, he's going to have to start winning again.
Well, he just will. He'll just be 9 and 6, and nothing will change.
Right. He'll be like, okay.
You know.
I guess I got to try a little harder today. What a weird competitor Shodai is.
Bless you, Shodai. We need all types in sumo.
We need all types.
We need all shapes and sizes and personalities. We want 42 beautiful humans.
That's right.
This is what we're going for, and Shodai is one of them.
Exactly.
Just putting it in context.
Everybody knows who Shodai is for sure.
One of a kind.
Yes.
So next up, another one of a kind. Shonannoumi, 9 and 6. So if anybody wasn't confident on how good he could be, that this was a diamond in the rough, now we know.
Yes.
Now we know. Because you show leader right here, 9 and 2.
And that's usually when it falls apart, when you're like new to this.
Then they gave him Abi and Kotozakura and Onosato. And so right here, whenever people are this low, I look at their records. I'm like, they're gonna throw you to the lions.
And you are not ready.
It's what they do. It's inevitable. They did it to Takerufuji as well. He was up there and then he was down there.
Yeah. You got to take your lumps.
You got to take the lumps, but he earns it, and he does. He has that moment.
Yeah.
He must. You go home. You watch NHK replays, and there's his name on the top of the leaderboard.
You got to have somebody record that.
Yeah, you put it on.
Keep that forever.
Yeah. So his sumo was on target. And like
he is such a solid defensive guy.
This is like defensive mastery. And
yes.
I was said about this with Kotoshoho, he will neutralize offense. He creates a void in which no offense can exist.
Yeah.
And then when they're struggling because they don't know what to do, he just finds the way to slap you down.
Right.
It's
He's just sort of waiting to suck you in. Now, the fascinating thing was him and Abi fighting because it was the push versus the pull. And it was actually Abi who grabbed his arm and pulled him to throw him off. That I'm like, you just gave the blueprint to future guys. Like, you can turn the tables on him. You can do the pull as well. And he wasn't ready for that. So, you know, he's gotta be a little careful.
Yeah, well, the thing is that because he doesn't have a lot of his own offense, if people are able to basically work through that, and because he's sort of there was a lot of lean stalemates in his stuff, but like that's where he thrives.
Right.
It's just like, okay, now you're tired, now you're frustrated, now you're gonna make mistakes,
and now I'm gonna get you.
Now he's gonna get you. He's good at it, and it's interesting because he's able to leverage his size. He uses angles. He does belt stuff. Like he doesn't just lean on you and do nothing
like some other
people
who are so uninspired.
Anyway, we'll eventually stop beating that dead horse, but not yet.
Not anytime soon.
Anyway, well done, Shonannoumi. A lot of eyes are going to be on him in July.
Well, he's 9-6. He's going to go into the single-digit Maegashira, and he's going to get tougher opponents.
Get a tougher opponent. There may be a lot of people that are like, we can't let this guy think that he's
right. Let's put the newbie in his place. So he may get a shot again at like the Kotozakuras. We'll have to see. I mean,
he'd have to go on another streak.
Right. He'd have to go on a tear for sure.
I hope he looks at how well he did in May and says, I can do this.
Yeah. Just get confidence from this.
Yes. Oh, there's so much confidence to get.
Yeah, exactly. I think he'll do well. He looked pretty calm out there.
He was and then the nerves kicked in. It happens to everyone.
Right. And once again, it happens right at the same spot. Once you get close to the 10 wins, it's like, man, like, can I really do this? And then
they come after you.
Yeah.
They come after you.
So it was pretty standard fare what happened to him.
Well done, Shonannoumi. Very much looking forward to his July.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So, Megashira 10 West, Kinbozan 8-7. Happy to see the Kachikoshi sort of... Well, he gave Meisei and Oshoma on the last 2 days. This is a bit rough.
Yeah.
It's a bit rough. But fighting in ways that show he's continuing to evolve the craft. Increasing the power. Doing better with parries and reactions. Sort of a deeper toolkit. Because beforehand, he was just power and size and then scramble.
Right.
But
he's
now,
refined his whole thing.
Yeah. So now, I'm reading notes. So people basically who would normally pressure and bully people doesn't work. Like we'd mentioned with Midorifuji. Midorifuji tries to push into him. Kinbozan's like, nah. And then Midorifuji tries to do the Kachikashi and Kinbozan's just like, get out of the ring.
Just push you right down.
Right down. So he's still not perfect, still working on it.
But definitely improved.
It's improvement. It's just unfortunate that it's not as consistent.
Yeah, I was actually hoping for a better record for him based on like some of the matches he was fighting so well, and it's like, you still only got an 8-7. It just tells you you do have a lot of work to do.
Still a little bit. Maybe. Yeah, maybe we can't look at him for a little bit. Maybe I'm too interested.
Right.
Maybe I'm too invested in Kinbozan here.
You got to just like turn your head and then maybe like sideways glance.
But definitely working his way back up. The neck injury's healed.
He's probably feeling a little bit less tentative because he survived an injury.
Yes. Yeah, that is definitely a confidence booster when you can, like when you hurt something and then there's that moment that like you test it and it holds just fine. It's like, oh, I got my arm back.
Right, you're like, I can do this.
That again. Yeah, there is an excitement. It's also the same feeling like when you're sick for a month and you can breathe properly. And you get a full night's sleep.
And you look around, you're like, the world feels different all of a sudden.
I don't need tissues nearby all the time.
Oh man, I'm back to normal. Yeah, that's Kinbozan.
It's Kinbozan. So so optimistically in July, he hits a little harder, he moves a little faster. More confidence. So, Sadanoumi, a man who does not need more confidence with that 9-6.
What a pleasant surprise.
Oh, man, he's fighting good. So, if you hit him hard enough and fast enough, you will eventually find the cracks.
Yes.
But you have to hit him hard enough and fast enough, because if it is anything less, he is hungry.
Yeah, he doesn't want to go out yet.
No.
He wants to stay in this as long as he can. I wonder if he's chasing some records or something.
Yeah, and there's a lot of him reversing fortunes. This is what I'm saying. Like, people will get in. You'll get the drop on him. You'll hit him first. You'll get the belt. You'll get the thrust. But it's like, you better beat him right then and there, because he has the ability to rebuild and charge back, and like people of all sizes, like Midorifuji, Shodai, Nishikifuji is a small one. Hokutofuji goes in. Sadanoumi is like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
Hokutofuji charging head first, recklessly, doesn't care. Midorifuji, huge guy. Sadanoumi, like, he is the guy who goes to Midorifuji and is just like, go back to Juryo.
Yeah.
I don't care how big you are, I'm gonna throw you.
Yeah.
Sadanoumi.
Every time you think, like, okay, this is it, he's really seen the best he can see, he pulls off a 9 and 6.
One of this. Does it nicely. Looks good.
You don't question him after that. You're like, oh, he's fine.
Yeah, he's fine. Yeah.
We'll see him next tournament.
Yeah. He'll be here another year easy.
Yeah, and it's like, how old is he? Like,
He's an older
think
guy,
he's
36.
Yeah, I think he's like the second oldest.
What's going on here? There.
Nothing wants to work.
87.
87. How old is he?
He's 37.
So he's the second oldest guy in sumo.
What the hell?
Look at that. Now you have to be even more hyped about him. He's right behind Tamawashi.
We almost share a birthday. What the hell?
Look at that.
Oh my goodness.
He's your kindred spirit.
This whole time.
You didn't even know?
I didn't even know. I never looked. It was right there in front of me all along. I, like Sadanoumi, will also get completely blasted out if you hit me hard enough. Hit me softly too. I'll also get blasted out.
Just use the pinky.
Use the pinky. I love it when they get like the anchors or stuff like that, or like the normal people.
They put him in a Mawashi.
They put him in a Mawashi and they just get thrown into a wall.
Like they barely touch him and they're like, ugh. Like you get so used to seeing these guys hit each other and nobody moves that when you see a regular normie guy get in there, it's like, oh, he's got no shot. You could just cough and he's gonna fall over.
All the way over. So big. So well done, Sadanoumi. Defying Father Time. Looking good doing it. Got him. We'll have him at least through the end of the year like this.
The
way he's fighting, maybe more.
Wow.
Well done. All right. So Hokutofuji, 7 and 8. Thank God. This week too. Ooh.
Yeah, he's lucky that the tournament ended.
Well, he's a little streaky. So 6 of these 8 losses were the same. He hit somebody, like Sadanoumi. They say, no, you don't. And then they push him out, they throw him out, they pivot. That charge is like all he's got. Yeah. And he's losing it.
Yeah. It's not looking too good for Hokutofuji. But with that, he's still got a 7 and 8. So that's the positive part.
That is the positive, is that some people he's able to hit. He still has the scramble. I'm seeing that pull come out a little more often, which makes me very sad.
Yeah, that pull is not a good sign for him.
That pull does not work for him.
No.
That pull is, I have no options.
And everybody knows it.
Yeah.
So then they just double down on pushing him out.
Yeah.
Like that's one of those
they smell
moments.
It.
Yeah. Like, oh, he's pulling. He's done.
Yeah. Because he never pulls. But
right.
For so long.
Always straight on.
He would rather die in a sewer than pull. But now you see him pull because he's just hit so hard. He's just like, there's nothing I can do.
Right. I'm going to try to like pull you down with me. It's like human instinct.
It is. That's what he's pulled. It's all the way down. So Hokutofuji is definitely reaching that veteran level. So. And
he's not as old as Sadanoumi.
No, he's not.
I think he's like 31 or 32.
Yeah. So he's hitting veteran. I'm not thinking about him in Sanyaku anymore, the way he's fighting.
What a downer.
But again, like you said, 7 and 8, not going to go far. At least you're able to hang with the big boys. Hang with the big boys. You're not thriving, but you're surviving.
When the Juryo guys come up, he can beat them up. They won't be used to the Tachi-ai. You know, he'll give them a crash course, and this is what Makauchi is.
I got bad news, though. Wakatakakage is one of those guys.
Crap.
Yeah, right?
Man, I feel bad for all the lower guys next tournament. That's for sure.
Endo, Chiyoshoma. We'll get to it. I'm getting ahead of myself. But Hokutofuji, I'm remembering the way that you smile.
Oh, here we go. You're in reminiscent stage too.
Yes. Oh, both of us. Both of our main squeezes are on the way out.
Man.
It's hitting us.
It's hitting us real hard.
Hitting us. So, speaking of hitting real hard enough to get an 8 and 7.
I didn't think he had it in him.
Ichiyamamoto, Mega Share 12 East. Again, the things I'll say, that day 15, like with Tamawashi, it says a lot about, because at day 15, you're beaten up, you're desperate, you've got nothing left. It's just like, whatever comes out of you is the
What's
heart.
in your heart,
What's in your heart. So he goes all the way forward. And then Tamawashi brings him back, but he's able to reverse. Ichiyamamoto's B game is crap. But like when it mattered, he made it work.
Yeah, he's showing that he's not ready to go back to Juryo. Like he really wants to stay here this time.
It is he is Mr. Struggle.
Yes, he is.
It defines him, and he's starting to make it work. Him and Kotoshoho are sort of kindred spirits in that way.
I agree.
But the thing, like with Kotoshoho, you're just like, okay, this is how you win for him. With Ichiyamamoto, you're just like,
he kind of lucks into some wins.
Well, Fusen win.
Yeah.
Against Midorifuji, to be fair. And again, I look at, whenever I see a Fusen win, like I understand. We had this talk before, I think, when Terunofuji, I think when he won his 9th and like he had the day rest.
Yes, there was a Fusen.
And there was a Fusen, and we had this whole discussion about, there's the rest aspect of it. But like for the rule of thumb, I look at it and like, would you have beaten that person? I think he would have beaten Midorifuji.
Right.
So
it doesn't count.
So you get the rest aspect. You definitely get you just show up and you
you have more fresh body than the guy you're fighting.
You get a bit of a gimme, you get a confidence boost, you get to sleep in.
They still have to show up though and hang out all day.
That's a specific thing. They have to show. If you don't show up,
you don't get the win.
You don't get the win.
Right. So you do still lose a day of training. Have to hang out all day.
Yeah. I mean,
but you don't get your brains beat in.
So 5 of his 8 wins were on the offense, which is good because then that powers at least he's hit a point where he can be a little bit more consistent. But when the 9 of those other times, it was a bit of a scramble, a lot of losses. Yeah, but that Tamawashi win, sort of Abi-esque, that sort of got out of the way. It's like, keep copying Abi's homework.
Right, exactly.
Seems to be working.
Follow him around like a little brother.
Exactly. Still got that Abi Ichiyamamoto fight, at least. Still got it.
I know. We got to live in that moment whenever we're feeling down.
Yeah. But good news. The Kachikoshi, the moving up.
Yeah. It's mostly positive for him.
He is somebody who just needs time.
Yeah. A lot of time.
So he bought himself at least a couple more tournaments.
Yeah. And he could just keep working through his issues.
Right. So, more, Nishikifuji, 5 and 10. I think this is the tournament that I finally give up the ghost.
Yeah.
On him, the tiny Terunofuji. I don't think
it is no more.
I think the injuries are just too much for him.
Well, that's a tough thing when a small man tries to fight like a big man.
Yeah.
He's going to take a lot more damage. And at Maegashira 12 with the 5 and 10, is he getting dumped out?
He's on the cusp.
Okay.
So there's some weird numbers going on. He's got this 5 and 10 down here. You have this 6 and 9 down here. I think Rogue is safe.
Interesting.
Because Toki Hayate right next to him did worse.
Yep, and he beat him on the last day, didn't he? Or who did he fight on the last day?
Rogue beat Toki Hayate on the last day.
So he kept himself alive, for sure.
This was definitely who's going down to Juryo fight.
Yep.
So I think Nishikifuji is safe by the nature of other people doing worse.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Just barely.
That's good for him, except I don't know that he's going to do any better next time.
Well, this is what's hurt so much, is that like by now, it's like if there was going to be more itty bitty arm clamps and crazy throws going on, like we was seeing it, but
yeah, this is like Yu Takayama.
A little bit. It's that energy.
Yeah.
A lot, like he still has some defense. He still has good instincts, but a lot of it makes him survive
But it doesn't make him win.
But doesn't make him win, exactly.
Those old days of him and Midorifuji both getting a 10 and 5 are done.
It's a shame. It sucks.
It does.
He does, maybe he'll get better one day, but...
Well, it's like what happened to Enho, We had a lot of fun when he was up, but we knew it was not going to last.
Yeah.
Just not possible.
So, every tournament you see him, it's a tournament. Maybe he's healthy enough. Maybe you think it, but it's been long enough.
Yeah.
Been long enough that the injured standard is what you should expect going forward.
Right.
I hate to say it out loud. It hurts my soul.
Lots of pain.
Okay, so Mitoryu, unfortunate, very unfortunate. 13 East, 2-9-4. So we're talking about people who did worse.
Wins that Juryo Yusho for nothing.
Yeah, this was going in. I'm like, oh, he won the Juryo Yusho. Maybe this is a statement. No. It
shows you the chasm.
It is. It does.
Somebody actually asked me on a live stream, like, what's really the big difference between Juryo and Makauchi? It can't be that big of a difference. Just look at Mitoryu.
It's a Mitoryu-sized difference.
It is.
There is a difference in not just the sumo, but also the mindset, the pressure. You're on national television. You've got people looking up to you, and everybody else around you is hungrier. You get paid more.
Yeah, just even standing in the locker room with the guys that are way bigger than you, just full of that sumo aura. Every little thing is just draining you, sucking the life out of you.
Yep. If you need to be somebody who gets excited by that.
Exactly.
There was back in the playoff with Terunofuji that then Kotonowaka gotten beaten down decidedly by Terunofuji, and there was some sort of a comment about how you had to go fight him again, and Kotonowaka was fired up for it. You need to be somebody kicks your butt, and you're like, ooh, I want him. I'm gonna get him back.
Let's do it again.
Let's do it again.
Right. If you're the kind of guy that's like, oh no, I gotta fight again.
Exactly.
You've already lost.
Already lost. You're done.
Yeah.
Not to say that's what's going on with Mitoryu, but this is.
He has that kind of energy though.
At this maybe the third time that we've seen him come up and just get bullied and his blunt's money stolen the exact same way. Right.
It's like, no, I think I can do it this time. No. Sorry, buddy.
He does do fun sumo. He's also huge.
Yes, he's huge.
We're running out of the huge people. We have big people. We don't have huge people.
Right.
So it's always good to see him. Particularly, I was comparing him to Toki Hayate, who's almost probably actually half his size, but has a lot of heart.
Yes.
And you go to Mitoryu and he... Juryo boy.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong with being in Juryo.
No, if you can make a career in Juryo, you're at least going to make money. You're going to have opportunities to do something cool. It's not Makushita.
Yeah.
Makushita must be the worst place to get stuck.
Bad day. It's a bad day. So, Mitoryu, back to Juryo.
Where you live.
Every time he comes up, it's another chance.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, keep making those chances. Maybe it'll stick one time.
One of these times you'll wear these little guys out.
Yeah. I mean, we some of our favorites. Chiyomaru was in the revolving door of Juryo for a little while.
Yep. Chiyo Tairyu too.
Chiyo Shoma got stuck in Juryo a little longer than we were expecting. Maybe
Looks like he's coming back
up. Mitoryu, there's a career here for you.
Yeah, there's a career bounce up and down.
Bouncing for you.
Well, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Take that over somebody who just can't make it.
Can't make it. Yeah. He still gets that. So see you around, Mitoryu. So next up, Tsurunoumi 8-7, scraping it by. 13 West, riding the ship. We were talking about how he came in, he had a great opener from his rookie, and then he's just sort of been struggling, fading,
hanging on.
We're like, you need to start moving in the right direction. He does. Don't like those last two losses. I gave him Tobizaru on the last day, which is kind of dirty. But
yes and no. I mean, Tobizaru at least was having a bad tournament.
That's true.
In some ways, they might have been giving him a gimme.
Yeah, well, these last
They thought anyway.
Yeah. So he was 7-3, and then he ends up 8-7. It's a second week fade a little bit. Maybe he's still trying to get used to things. He and Roga have that crazy match that they were doing laps back and forth across the dojo,
which was so fun.
Which was fun and crazy, and he was able to control that chaos and win. When you're running all over the place like that,
right? He's got
that's a good.
He's got some things, some special elements to his sumo, but still. And I keep saying this. He's not young, though. He's 30.
He's old young.
He's old young. So he's new to Makauchi, but he's an older man. Maybe he's just taking his time. If he can,
his time a little bit.
If he can go to 40, maybe he'll really put something together.
He does have good instincts. When he fought Oshoma, Takerufuji, and Tomokaze, one of the few times that he actually came at him. Came out, showed up and pushed forward and good stuff. Like Tsurunoumi was able to deal with that and reversed it and did pretty well. So and he still has the interesting fighting styles and stuff going on. It's just an 8-7,
right? But an 8-7 will keep him here. Yeah,
it's like we were saying with Kinbozan. It's just 8-7 means you're still working on things, but it's working.
Right, working is something.
I feel like Tsurunoumi still there's an extra something buried.
We need some catalyst to bring it out.
Something sparking. We may never get it, but let's throw a few matches his way.
That's right. You gotta hope that you throw the right guy in front of him and it just sets him into a crazy rage.
That's the hope. So well done, Tsurunoumi. Ryuden, 14, he's 10-5. Half expected, half relief. Looks like he was fading on the way out, but the Ryuden showed up in May. He's just tired of this fade nonsense. I'm just going to start grabbing belts and throwing people.
He looks, maybe I'm wrong, but he looked bigger to me this time around. Like he had put on weight or something, but maybe that's been over time. But all of a sudden I looked at him he looks way bigger to me than ever before. Wide-wise.
So he beats Kinbozan. He beats Shodai. He beats Mitakeumi, other career big people.
Yep.
And he's doing a bit more upright fighting because he'll grab people on the belt and then he'll sort of step up and move, sort of the way Tochinoshin did.
Yeah.
A lot of times he loses when people keep the belt away from him.
Right.
And then he's top heavy. And so he's doing a lot of he beats Tsurugisho is kind of a gimme this turn. I'm not going to give him. Unfortunately.
A couple of gimmies in there.
So some real power, winning the strongman fights. And keeping his balance, and definitely on the way back up.
It'll be interesting because, he'll get a decent-sized promotion. Is he going to get slammed right back down, or is he actually putting something together?
He'll be maybe low enough that he's not going to worry about too many people, but he is somebody who maybe this is about where he does well. Right,
which I'm starting to question, but only July can tell us.
Yeah, so for July, the thing for Ryuden is going to be, are you able to keep this going, or you have to sort of stick near the bottom where it's safe?
Right, exactly.
Don't want to swim in open waters.
Yeah, stay where the sandbar is.
Yep, he may be a sandbar Rikishi right now.
I'm leaning in that direction, but we'll see if he can surprise me.
Well, July's his chance to prove us wrong.
That's right, and that's when you go to the beach. So nice.
Dolphin Arena. So, debutante Oshoma, also a 10-5, gets the Fighting Spirit prizes for his trouble and is pretty impressive.
Surprised me.
I'm impressed. Does really good pressures you until you screw something up kind of sumo. He lets his presence be felt, and then he had a diversity of ways of dealing with it. So he gets push sumo, he does slap downs, he gets the belt, and he seems pretty fearless.
He sure does. That's what surprised me the most. Here he is, a brand new guy, and he didn't seem uncomfortable out there.
No.
He really stared those guys in the eye and let's go. Yeah. Even in his matches against Wakamotoharu and Hoshoryu, there probably was nerves.
There was probably, yeah.
But he stared him down like he belonged in the match at least. Even though he had no shot, the confidence was there. you know what? I want to try my hand at this. I'm ready for this.
Yeah.
So give him a little bit of time, and maybe these are the fortunes reverse.
Yeah, that kind of confidence. We were just saying this with Mitoryu.
Yeah,
like that mindset that you need.
You have to want to be in the big matches.
Like he seems like the kind of guy, like he'll look down the locker room and be like, yeah, I could take him.
Yeah.
I could take him. Like, you may have no business taking him. Hoshoryu definitely showed.
Hoshoryu was doing that from, like, the moment he was born, Like,
yeah. Well, like in the match.
Yeah.
Like, Hoshoryu just uses every drop of Ozeki power.
Yes.
To just put him in his place. Now, some of that was like a pride thing. Like, if Hoshoryu loses to Oshoma on day 14,
it just wrecks his life
and cedes his place in the Yusho to the new guy. No, it's not gonna happen. So Hoshoryu came in there with every single thing, and he was gonna
he wasn't gonna take any chances.
He's not gonna take any chances, so he just dismantles Oshoma. But
they had never faced each other either, right?
I do not think
at that time. So that's another part. Like, if you're unsure of a guy and you're in the situation that Hoshoryu was in, you better just make sure there's no doubt that he's losing that match.
Yeah, but Oshoma's got some interesting sumo.
He does. He surprised me. He impressed me. I did not have my eye on him at all. So I was like, okay. All right, you got my attention.
Yeah. I'm becoming a little bit more gun shy when people be like, he's a hot prospect. Got to look out of him.
I know. That's actually what's happening to me too, is every time somebody hypes the person up, I'm like, yeah, let's see.
Yeah.
Until I see him actually fight and get an impression.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you want to see at least 2 tournaments. Obviously with Onosato, we've had all we need to see. Oshoma, we still gotta see what happens.
I'm optimistic for his July.
Yes.
I feel like he'll grow to fit, and it's really just up to him to keep up with his ambition.
Yeah. As it is with most.
Yes. Well done. See you in July, Oshoma. So Toki Hayate, 15, also a new person. Bit of a different fortune for him, unfortunately. 6-9. I like his the little engine that could kind of in feeling. We were mentioning where all these small people just did not have a good time of it.
No, this was not the small man.
It's not the small man sumo.
Especially, just quickly, Kotoeko retired.
Yes.
So, I mean, that was the epitome of small man, bad tournament. But anyway, continue.
I saw a picture of him in a suit, though. He looks pretty good.
Oh, I missed that. I had to see that.
Somewhere. It'll be out there in the media, but... Yeah, so Togi Hayate with some very spirited, good instincts, good grappling. Definitely, you look at him and you're like, I can see how you got up here.
Yeah, you could see the tangibles.
But he had a lot of nerves, and he's got some big people to deal with.
Well, I was gonna say you're his size, and then you look up and you're like, oh, this man looks like he could kill me. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, let's go out there and show our sumo spirit. It's got to be extra intimidating if you're his size.
Yeah. So I will also stress that this is what normally happens to people when they come to the top division. So we're looking at Oshoma here. Like, this is something special.
Yes.
We look at Takerufuji. We look at Onosato. They're weird exceptions.
Yes.
What happens to you normally, you get up here, you get the bright lights, you get the cable TV, and then you get all these people that want to kill you.
Pretty much.
Okay. The 6-9 ain't bad. He's probably going back to Juryo, but I felt like he proved that he isn't done with this yet.
Right. Just have a good tournament in Juryo and be right back.
Exactly.
He's going to come back almost like the kid who went on a foreign exchange and comes back to his class like, guys, guess what I learned? Guess what I learned?
Yes.
Let me try this move on you, he'll come back hopefully with a spring in his step and ready to come back and try again.
I'm optimistic for him.
Yeah.
That kind of exchange student energy.
Yes, exactly.
I think he'll bring that in. But he'll be right on the cusp of Juryo too.
Right. So he might be Juryo 1 or 2.
1 or 2, he'll be back.
Yeah.
See you soon, I hope. That's the hope.
A
lot of hope today. So, 15 West Roga 7-8 continues his barely hanging on by his fingernails.
That's sort of his brand of sumo.
Does seem to be. So like if he can get into his belt stuff, he has a real good chance against almost everybody.
Yeah, and he really, I don't think this record reflects how hard he fought. There were a couple of matches he was in and he just lost, but the effort was there. This was a different Roga than I had been seeing. Like, I had heard a lot, like, yeah, have you been paying attention to Roga? Are you paying attention to Roga? And I'm like, let's see what he does. And his first time in, I was very underwhelmed. And so I had this feeling of, he's all right. This tournament, you got to see what people were saying about him. He just acted as if he wasn't going to give up until the match was over. He just, no quit. The matches all over the dohyo, trying things, and then, just not quite good enough to put together a winning score, but close.
Spirited fights. Also, he had a lot of like drag out fights. Like you'd mentioned the one with Shonannoumi.
Yeah.
Where they were all running all over the place. He had those kinds of marathon matches and endurance matches, and he's outlasting people.
Yeah.
So Surugisho and Mitoryu not difficult, but they're big, heavy people that he has to drag around.
Right. He still has to do the work.
So he's now I think he just keeps getting these 7s and 8s. So like he's gonna run out of runway if this keeps happening. Yeah. And 5 and 10. So he's so his
he's hopefully just like put in a placeholder for now.
Yeah, he's on borrowed time a little bit. Like I said before, that 7 and 8 is probably going to save him because Toki Hayate right next to him did worse. Nishikifuji's got the 5 and 10. We've got a bunch of people, they're condemned.
Right.
So he's just barely hanging on.
But that would mean 2 tournaments in a row where he barely stays in.
He's running out of cliff face here.
He sure is.
But he is going to fight tooth and nail to the bitter end, which is, you want that kind of energy.
You do. That's all you can ever ask, is for a guy to just give it all he has, and then, presumably good things will happen.
Here's the hoping. Roga, I think, like, if Roga can have stronger initiative, get on that belt faster, control people a little better, or maybe just get a little faster, better movement.
Yeah.
The answers are out there.
Right. It's just making your little, going down the checklist and making your improvements, and then we can possibly talk about him in a more positive, encouraging light.
The 8s and 7s.
Yes.
All right. So let's get some of these out of the way. Tomokaze, our dearest handicapped individual, 2 and 13. Mm-hmm. This is super duper banged up Tomokaze. This is worse than when he was here before.
Yeah, instead of getting stronger, he's getting weaker, and it's not going to be
I know, like
what it could have been.
We saw him before, and we're like, oh, he's back. He made it back. And we're like, it doesn't matter if you do badly. At least we got to see you again. And now I saw him here. I'm just like, I saw you again, man.
I'm glad we got one.
I'm glad we got one out of you.
Because this is done.
Yeah.
This was the tournament of careers that are finished.
Yeah. Oh boy. So maybe he can hack it in Juryo. I don't know, but
I mean, he was in worse shape than Sudagisho, and Sudagisho doesn't have a knee. It doesn't exist. Knee. It's a phantom knee. It's not really there.
Ugh. Yeah, that's good to see you again, I guess.
Yeah, we'll wave farewell.
Goodbye.
Bye, Tomokaze. Best of luck.
At least we know. At least you have closure on him.
Yeah, we needed some closure.
Yeah, there's no hope there. Just a clean cut.
Man, you just go back and you remember when he was just winning Kachikoshi. There was no the potential was just like way out in front, and then bam.
It's like if Onosato were to break his leg.
Oh, John, you gotta knock on a lot of wood. Oh, the wood.
I was gonna say it.
You might as well. Just rip that Band-Aid right off.
It's fine. Goodbye, Tomokaze. I love you. So next up, Takerufuji, 9 and 6.
I'm glad.
Okay, so we're past second wind. probably past third wind.
Yeah, we're in bonus wind. I don't know what
There's
that's...
a lot of unknown 4th/5th wind. Guy keeps coming back. Like we were like when we saw Takerufuji, we were just like, nice seeing you. And then he comes back from Jiro. He's like, oh, that's nice. We'll see you again. Then he fights like he's 20 years younger.
Well, did you hear the little tidbits in the Chris Sumo video where like Hakuho called him over to show him some stuff?
It's the X Factor now.
Yes. Like, freaking Hakuho could walk around and like change people's entire lives.
Well, it makes sense, you know, because
I mean, he has one conversation with him and he does this.
Yeah, and they keep mentioning about how the Isegahama training sessions are off the chain now because you've got all these good people at Isegahama, and then the Miyagino boys are all coming up to play. And if you're somebody like Takerufuji, you're just like, man, I got 50 bouts a day. I don't have to leave the backyard.
Right? Exactly.
Guy, he's in it. Like you can tell him, somebody like him, he's there the whole day. Like they got to chase him out of that practice ring.
Exactly.
He's got that kind of thing, and yeah, the kind of power and drive I've seen out of him, I have not seen that out of him in a while.
In like at least a year.
So good.
You know, it's just he's such a technically sound guy. The only thing hurting him is his age.
Yeah. Like
time has caught up to him, but if this was Takerufuji of like maybe 5 years ago, who knows what would have happened?
Yeah. Right here, he was 7-1.
Nuts.
In the back of my mind, I'm like, it's not gonna last. And the same, like I looked at when I looked at Shonannoumi, I'm like,
no,
it's not gonna last. I look at him, it's like it's not gonna last. But how great would it be for this guy to come back and just win it all, and then we get another Fuji Cup?
I know.
He would win it for Takerufuji.
Right, and for Terunofuji. There would be tears shed. Takerufuji would cry. No question.
I wanted it.
And he's got kids and a wife. There'd be so many tears. It'd be flooding the whole Kokugikan.
Yep.
Which is what I like. I like the emotional stuff.
Yeah. But a 9-6 is still more than sufficient.
He gets to go home and be like, hey, kids, steak tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a 9-6, a convincing 9-6. And like he can do that 9-6 again in July, and I'm not even worried.
Yeah. We don't have to put him on the watch list right now.
No watch list. He's just dominant. And just think, if he did that in 2 weeks with Miyagino Oyakata,
imagine a whole month.
Imagine 2 months of Miyagino Oyakata.
Man, we really got to keep an eye on the Isegahama boys in the next couple months.
I'm excited. Okay, one more, and then one more quickie. Okay, so Tsurugisho is a wrestler in the top division for no more.
We didn't even expect him to come.
No.
We don't know how he's fighting with an invisible leg. And he still managed 3 wins.
Yeah.
And one of them was against Oshoma.
Yeah. So he does, all of his wins were these like really good pivots that he pivots on his only surviving knee and then uses his raw power to just drag people. It was kind of impressive.
It's fascinating to see that he's that strong.
This is the science experiment. If somebody only has a single knee, can you still do sumo?
Apparently you can.
You'll go 3-12, but you'll make it look good. When he fought Roga, so this was day 5, he was well in. He was like he had like a third of the dohyo between him and the bales behind him. Roga pressures him, and he backpedals the whole way.
Mm-hmm.
Like instead of there being a knee, there's like an off switch.
Yeah.
In his leg, and if
That's
anybody
true.
pushes on that knee, he's just like,
done.
"You're done. You're done." It's like in the back, the director shells and cut.
Yeah.
And then he just stops fighting.
Yep. It's like, oh, you hit the button.
Hit the button.
Time to go home.
It became a morbid curiosity, which did not feel good. Because part of me is like mourning his death, and the other part of me is just like,
how much longer can he go?
I know. It's like, he keeps showing up, dude.
I thought he'd be out of here by now.
Like, do you see the Syracuse show? I thought he was going to fall over. It's
and
like,
he shows up for day 15. You're like, well, he made it.
Yeah, that's another thing. Both of those guys, they show up all 15 days. Tomokaze too.
That's the sumo spirit right there.
It is 100% sumo spirit. Like you go and you think just like, These guys got broken bodies. Like, why are they going out there and doing that? It's just like
they want to be sumo wrestlers.
They wouldn't have it any other way.
What are they going to do? Sit at home and rehab? No,
Hell
we're going to go in and just get hurt more.
So that is the sumo life. If you ever want to know what kind of person you need to be professional sumo,
look at Daieisho. And if you're not that guy, then just walk away.
Just food for thought. A reminder that us mere mortals
got nothing compared.
Nothing. Okay. So, well done, everybody who showed up.
Yeah. And for those who left, good luck.
Yeah. Daieisho better record than Takerufuji.
Yeah.
Get that on there. All right. So Jiraiya, relatively unknown wrestler known as Wakataka Kage gets a Jiraiya show.
He will now finally be back.
Back up. Kageyaku with the 11-4 is probably going to go take someone's spot. So it's probably going to be Toki Hayate. It might be Nishikifuji.
It's been a long time since he's been up there.
So yeah, he's been in the penalty box for a little while, so he'll be coming back up. Endo almost makes a run of the Jiraiya show.
Yeah, he ran out of steam at the end.
Looking real good for him though.
How rough was it that they put all the top guys against the 7-7s?
They wanted to make sure that they all fought each other already.
I know it had to be, but I'm like, that is so rough.
It is. Oh, it sucks for the 7-7s. I agree.
Yeah, I'm like, has that ever happened before? Like, they just messed their whole lives up.
Yeah,
it's like
they wanted to make sure that whoever they were going to get was going to give them the fight.
Yeah, and so they gave him the fight. All right,
gave him the fight. We're going to get Ichiyamamoto back, like we said.
Yeah.
Hakuoho injured again. Something else this time. But comes back and scrapes 3 wins to be 5-10. That might keep him in Jiraiya.
I really hope this is not that story. I'll be really upset.
It's a weird energy coming from him right now.
Real weird energy.
We gotta wait for the long term on him.
Yeah, I don't think I'll even look. I'm so glad.
Well, he's down in Jiraiya.
Right, I don't have to.
Yeah, we focus most of our energy on the 42.
Yeah.
But we look down
here.
We look down in Jiraiya because they come up and down. We got to keep some eyes on it. Someone to keep an eye on is this guy, Onokatsu.
Yes, lots and lots of talk about Onokatsu, and obviously he delivers with the 13-2.
Yep. So, new hotness. Joined in November.
Wow.
So,
get it now. I get it.
Keep an eye on him.
This is another Ono. These Onos.
Yeah. So he's a different stable than the other ones. But he's with Onosho.
Ah, interesting. Very, very interesting.
So he's not Onosato.
I figured he wasn't.
Onosho.
Ah.
Different Ono. Anyway, so he'll be top of Jiraiya in July. So we're also not going to be noticing him, but very likely going to be there in September.
So now we got some things to look forward to beyond July.
Yes, because September is going to be him and Takerufuji. Assuming Takerufuji show up in July, which he should be fine.
Let's hope.
This is the resting you show for him, Boss show for him. So that is July. That is how it looks. Bit of a wild, injury-prone mess.
Started off rough, ended pretty nicely with a little bow in the end.
Little bow. They righted the ship at the end. I feel like that's the important part.
Yeah, every book has its beginning and its end, and as long as the end winds up good, you can forgive anything in the beginning. At least I can. I don't know about everybody else.
Yeah, well, definitely a bit tumultuous, perhaps.
Yes. And I will say thank you all for coming to the live streams. We've had a lot of new subscribers who've come in, a lot of new people bringing new energy and conversations. And, we had Goose on for a special Saturday live stream. So keep it up. If you guys really enjoy this and want to be a part of a sumo community, that's basically what we're here for. We talk about sumo and try to bring you in so you can talk about sumo with other people who like it as much as we do. So it's been fun. I appreciate all of the comments and all of the engagement, and I just hope more and more of you will show up as time goes on, and we'll just keep making this party bigger.
Yeah, that's all I got. We'll see. We'll be somewhere in mid-June.
For a Guess the Banzuke wild live stream where we just kind of
Talk about nonsense.
It's all nonsense, but you can watch us pick the Banzuke.
Yes.
So if you like nonsense, please come.
It's our nonsense stream. And then July is the next one?
Yes.
14th.
14th, okay.
So we'll do our preview show the week before.
Yes. And you will be hearing from us then.
Okay, so until then, thanks for listening.
Farewell.